Abnormal physical condition. Exiting driving mode, restoring to autopilot. The somewhat mechanical voice of the mech's main control computer echoed. The liquid metal enveloping Dongfang returned to its original state, and he remained securely seated, his hands still gripping the armrests. Nova, what just happened to me? Dongfang rubbed his still recovering head. You activated the manual driving mode of the interstellar mech, but your neural strength couldn't handle it yet, so you fell. Alright, first time piloting a mech. Same old story. Without further mishaps, Dongfang successfully returned to the base. Nova, are you ready? Let's get this party started. Let's have a grand bonfire. Dongfang was eager. Feeling a bit hungry after tossing around for half the night, hundreds of engineering robots surrounded the giant squid, extending their high-frequency pulse-cutting tools and quickly and orderly slicing it into pieces. Half an hour later, only a white, bone-like object remained on the spot, while the rest had been frozen for preservation. Can we start now? Dongfang asked again. Sir, I'm afraid you can't have barbecue because a large amount of ammonia was detected in the king squid's tentacles. If cooked, it would probably taste similar to urine. Exactly like it. Are you sure you want to try a piece? I can find one with lower ammonia content. No, I'm not sure. It's getting late. Take me back. It's a pity I just drove my car once. Disappointed, he thought about checking if the night market was still open to grab some grilled squid, which was on his mind. Sir, I apologize. I believe there are significant vulnerabilities in the vehicle's security system. I will prepare a new gift for you. We will abandon the flashy sports car design. A heavy-duty off-road vehicle is the best choice. After all, your safety is always the top priority. But I prefer sports cars. Dongfang emphasized his preference. As you wish, I will redesign the safety protection system. Dongfang nodded in satisfaction. Additionally, during the cutting process, it was discovered that one of the king squid's tentacles had been severed, and strangely, it had regrown with suction cups around it. This might indicate regeneration. Recently, I will focus on research, so preparing the gift will be delayed. Perfect timing for you to get your driver's license. Nova rarely spoke at such length, and the importance of limb regeneration technology was evident. 3 shuttles hovered above the park in a triangular formation, dispatched by Nova for safety. Fanger, is that you? The sound of the door opening woke up Gao Yuan, who had also spent the night in the office to accompany Dongfang. It's me, just got up. Dongfang turned and opened the door. Then I'll continue sleeping. I thought it was a thief, he said as he turned back to the office. Hey, Yuan Gu. I'm hungry. Let's go out for some skewers. Dongfang called out to him. Okay, let me get dressed. Gao Yuan shivered as he opened the car door, climbed in, and quickly shut the door. It's cold. In the early spring night, it was still quite chilly. Wearing a cotton jacket in the morning and a thin shirt in the afternoon, the reality here was sitting by the stove, eating watermelon. The night market was still brightly lit, bustling with people. As soon as the car stopped, before Gao Yuan could say anything, Dongfang jumped out. Smelling the aroma from the barbecue stall, Dongfang asked, Boss, do you have squid? Isn't that right? Choose whatever you want. The boss replied without lifting his head, pressing down on the meat on the iron plate. Sure, here's the translated text. 5 skewers each of squid tentacles, squid slices, and squid heads. If we're eating, we have to go all out. Note 1. Cuttlefish can inhale seawater and then expel it from their suckers, increasing their swimming speed. Note 2. As a mollusk, if not frozen, it turns into a puddle. Interested friends can search online to learn about the giant cuttlefish. Chapter 27 Submission. The next day, after Dongfang got up, he found Gao Yuan rushing into the bathroom. It wasn't he until he finished washing up, completed his usual morning routine, and ate a portion of breakfast that Gao Yuan came out of the bathroom, holding his stomach. Brother Yuan, what's wrong? Don't mention it. I ate something bad last night, and have been running to the bathroom all morning. How come you're fine? Oh no. I can't hold it any longer, he said, bending over and rushing back to the bathroom. It seems serious. Dongfang bought some medicine and placed it on Gao Yuan's desk, calling out to the bathroom, Brother Yuan, I've put the food and medicine on your desk. Eat when you're done. I'm heading out for a bit. During this time, he had returned several times but hadn't seen his grandmother for various reasons, so he decided to visit her. It was on his way to the district office anyway. It had been a while since he returned from the fireworks display in Area 51, and the materials he had in hand hadn't been very useful. Sending them out wouldn't be bad. His grandmother was in good health, and her joy and affection were evident. So Dongfang reluctantly had to eat a second breakfast that morning. Once outside, Dongfang headed straight to the courtyard. He had just spoken with Zhao Jinyu on the phone. Zhao Jinyu had been staying in AS for a long time, and his home was too far away. With such a large family, he only reached this level at 30, facing mockery and being overlooked, so it was better not to go back and deal with the hassle. Sitting at his desk, he rubbed his temples. There had been too many recent issues, insufficient funds, and the slow economic recovery were all troubling him. Whether the common people were doing well or not was the gold standard for measuring his work performance. After the pandemic, various industries had not yet returned to their former state, which was frustrating. Then he thought of Dongfang and Dongfang's Geocycle Company, which had been continuously paying a substantial amount of taxes lately, greatly alleviating the financial pressure. He was a good comrade. If he were to apply for a tax exemption, he could agree after some hesitation. This was a golden goose. Thinking about this, the frown on his forehead relaxed a bit. A staff member knocked and entered with Dongfang. He stood up proactively to shake hands with Dongfang, and they sat down on either side of the coffee table. "Thank you, Dongfang," he said, taking a sip of the hot tea offered by the staff member. "Not bad, right? This is good tea I borrowed from my old man's stash, Longjing Spring Tea. Top grade." Other than the fragrant aroma and sweet aftertaste, Dongfang couldn't discern much more, but he couldn't show weakness either. "Not bad, not bad," Dongfang nodded steadily. "Dongfang, what brings you here today? Is it about the tax exemption policy? That is easy to discuss." Zhao Jinyu took the initiative to speak. He genuinely liked this kid, who spoke and acted with confidence and composure, totally unlike an 18-year-old, making for a peer-to-peer conversation. "Secretary Zhao, I would like to ask, your family is in the capital. And with the surname Zhao, you resemble the old Zhao quite a bit in his younger photos. What is your relationship with him? Of course. If you don't want to say, that's fine. I'll tell you anyway. He is my grandfather. My dad is the second Zhao in the family." And Zhao Jinyu didn't hesitate too long. "But please don't spread this around. It wouldn't be good for us. Pardon my curiosity, but do you have a say at home? Now that's a bit too personal." Zhao Jinyu frowned slightly, feeling a bit displeased, but then thought that Dongfang is only 18, perhaps just a bit too curious. This is a common trait among researchers, and Dongfang is no exception. With a slight smile, he replied, "What do you mean? At home, I'm quite popular. The old man dotes on me. However, as for others," he wasn't lying to Dongfang. His grandfather indeed liked him a lot. Not only did they look alike, but their thoughts were also in sync, wanting to do something tangible for the people. As for the others, it's better not to mention them. Then I won't call you Secretary Zhao anymore. It feels distant. Zhao Gu. Ah, that's better. Zhao Jinyu felt a bit happier and wanted to get closer to Dongfang. Maybe it was because of the good first impression, or perhaps he just found him likable. Who knows? After weighing his options, Dongfang decided to take a gamble. Even if he didn't trust Zhao Jinyu, he trusted the old Zhao. "Zhao Gu, I have something I'd like you to pass on to the old Zhao. Would that be possible?" Given Zhao Jinyu's current situation, he definitely wouldn't be able to access it. Dongfang handed over a USB drive. "This is the first part of the technology 1M preparing to submit. Complete data on the F-119 engine." Now it was Zhao Jinyu's turn to be silent for a while. "Can you tell me what it is?" "It's something beneficial to the country. Someone asked me to pass it on, but I had no other way. So I had to seek your help. It definitely won't harm you. All right, I'll take care of it. But in the future, if I need your help, you can't refuse. As long as it doesn't violate the law, I agree." How could that be? The two seemed to have grown closer, showing that mutual trust can be established in an instant. At noon, Dongfang didn't stay for lunch, not because he wanted to be rude, but because he had a tight schedule in the afternoon. He needed to attend a management meeting and then rush back to school, so they planned for the next meeting. In the conference room of the Earth and Environment Company, several managers were seated in a circle, and the meeting was underway. "Mr. Dong, we've already had some preliminary discussions. Analyzing the current industry situation, I believe we need to delve deeper into the software field. Creating a batch of high-quality software to establish the company's reputation and create a brand effect, propelling the company into a fast track of rapid development." Gao Yuan looked much better, and during the meeting, his title had changed. "Oh, how do we delve deeper?" Dongfang asked, a bit curious. "We have analyzed all the apps currently on the market. They cover various categories and are flourishing, but in professional fields, the market is quite large." Gao Yuan spoke eloquently. In this era of advanced mobile communication, with continuous improvements in hardware performance, why don't we develop software like CAD into apps? You know about Silhouette, right? It has been quite successful. Dongfang certainly knew about it. He had used it for editing Journey to the West and nodded in agreement. "So how is our technology and the reserve of relevant personnel?" He continued to press. Do the existing staff have any relevant development experience?" Maybe not." Dongfang smiled. "The idea is good, but it's somewhat unrealistic. So what are we going to do? The company is constantly expanding. We can't be without business. It's fine to dig deep, but we need to base it on the actual situation and focus on the main contradictions." Dongfang paused to give everyone some time to think. "This is also something you, as the general manager, should consider. An intelligent assistant?" Gao Yuan waved his hand as if to encourage himself. "Yes, it's an intelligent assistant." Chapter 28 Direction. Fanger called out Dongfang's nickname again, feeling a bit excited. "It's an intelligent assistant. Which intelligent assistant on the market can compete with ours? We can promote it to PCs, smart speakers, cars, and even drones. Everything connected. Yes, that's it. Everything connected." Gao Yuan's mind opened up completely, showing some qualities of a general manager. "Great, we can initiate the project." Dongfang nodded with a smile. Boss, please take a couple of days off to give a training session for the new employees, Zhang Hao said. There are still many shortcomings in using the D language. And besides, we have new employees starting tomorrow. Tian, have all the confidentiality agreements been signed, in addition to the employment contracts? Dongfang first asked HR. Of course. Including that guy Zhu Jianjun, a total of 53 people. Then let's start the class tomorrow. Dongfang turned to Zhang Chong and instructed him to organize it. After enduring a scolding from the instructor and making a bunch of promises, Dongfang successfully got the time off. At 8 a.m. on Monday, the conference room of the Earth and Environment Company was packed with people. It would be quite difficult to fit another person in. And you might not even be able to reach the door because the aisles were also filled with people. When Dongfang arrived, the crowd automatically parted to make way. Walking to the already set-up projector, Dongfang plugged in the USB drive he had brought. Let's get started. Dongfang cleared his throat. Boss, go ahead. I'm itching to hear it. Zhang Hao said, the Joker. Dongfang shot a glare at Zhang Hao sitting in the front row and began. Today's training content is the D language I developed myself, which may overturn everyone's understanding. Its logical thinking is based on the thought process of people from our culture, developed differently from the various programming languages you have used before. You don't need to change your way of thinking, just write the code as you think. Of course, it supports writing in Chinese, making it even more convenient for everyone to use and become proficient quickly. As soon as Dongfang finished speaking, discussions erupted in the conference room, buzzing so much that Dongfang's voice became unclear. Am I dreaming? A project that could not be achieved with the strength of the entire nation. Can our company achieve it? Haha. Even if we develop such an amazing intelligent assistant software, it doesn't mean we can creatively develop a programming language, right? Yeah, I almost want to resign, haha. No need to doubt. The intelligent assistant was created using it. Dongfang picked up the microphone next to him, which he originally didn't need. Let's discuss the first operational example. Hello World, which everyone is quite familiar with, right? However, there are some differences. I want to explain Hello Blue Star. As the speaker from the east began, the murmurs gradually faded away until they disappeared. Eyes began to light up, filled with a thirst for knowledge, and everyone picked up their pens, continuously jotting down notes. They were entranced, obsessed, and oblivious to everything around them. Nothing could disrupt this group of young programmers except for a completely new, transformative programming teaching method. Aside from eating, sleeping, and using the restroom, this group eagerly immersed themselves in learning. If staff members encountered each other, they would only ask about how the modules they were working on were coming along. This training session was practically a sermon. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye, and the speaker from the east stood in front of the projector. All right, I've covered everything I needed to. The rest you will need to comprehend through practical use. The warm, sustained applause echoed throughout the company, marking the successful conclusion of the training session. Even 10 years later, employees who attended the meeting proudly recounted to newcomers, "You didn't experience it. The leader was simply amazing." The speaker from the east smoothly returned to school, where 3 roommates greeted him with their usual loud antics, full of enthusiasm. "Zhang Wei, you rascal, I'm coming for you. You sold me out again." Yang Xiao was very angry, and Zhang Wei quickly ran away. "You think you're tough? You can take on 9 by yourself? What a joke. Oh, this kid has learned some new slang. But you can't sell me out. We're brothers." After saying this, he twisted Zhang Wei's arm, chasing after him. Fearing being caught by Yang Xiao, Zhang Wei dashed toward the door, just as the speaker from the east was about to push it open. The two were about to collide. He quickly grabbed Zhang Wei by the collar, lifted him effortlessly, and then set him down, leaving Zhang Wei momentarily stunned. He quickly realized that Yang Xiao was charging towards him. "Save me, Feng Er. Yang Xiao, this heartless brute, is coming to hit me." He clung to the speaker's clothes, hiding behind him as Yang Xiao rushed forward. "Feng Er, you're back. Took another 2 days off." Yang Xiao stopped and spoke. "Yeah, I had some family matters. What about you guys? Back to gaming again?" The speaker shrugged. "Have you eaten? Let us call the neighbors and play some 5-player games." Yang Xiao's gaming enthusiasm kicked in. Yes. Zhang Wei peeked out from behind the speaker. "This guy?" After some thought, the speaker realized that he often ran between the company and school and didn't have many opportunities to bond with his friends, so he nodded in agreement. The speaker's favorite character in the game was Li Bai, the ethereal sword immortal, who moved gracefully. Before unlocking the gene lock, he was a silver-ranked king in the game, enjoying the thrill of defeating lower-ranked players, even though he had never achieved the diamond level. But now he was different, if he wanted to. His hand speed could reach 300 or even higher. Logging into the game, the familiar sound played as the speaker entered the game room. As soon as Li Bai locked in his choice, he casually remarked, "I play jungler." His expert demeanor immediately shocked everyone present. "This match doesn't count. I haven't played in a long time." Once again, he locked in his choice, still using a familiar strategy, but the outcome felt different. The game ended in victory, and the voice chat echoed with 2003, 666 across the canyon. Until he lay in bed, Zhang Wei was still chattering away. Feng, from now on you're my brother. You have to help me climb the ranks when you have time. But the former jungler had fallen to the role of a support, and Wang Ming shouted, "Stop that. Go to sleep. Don't forget to skip class tomorrow. You silly support. Can't you see I'm trying to impress the pro? Don't you want to rank up?" Dongfang said, pulling up the blanket. "Got it. Third brother, let's sleep. We have class tomorrow." Chapter 29. The Hamiltonian Conjecture. The next day, the group showed up for class on time, facing the dreaded advanced calculus course. As usual, Dongfang immersed himself in his studies while the teacher focused on calculus, eventually branching into differential geometry, which led to a mention of the Hamiltonian conjecture. He casually explained that in a three-dimensional space, any closed curve can shrink to a point, provided there is at least one point that is a singularity. This simplified form need not be a three-dimensional sphere. It could also be a three-dimensional torus. It doesn't matter if you don't understand. Just know that a conjecture is a guess about a result that hasn't been proven yet. It's impressive regardless. The classmates listened as if it were a foreign language, and then the professor posed a challenging question. Who knows what method can be used to prove its validity? In reality, it had already been proven, but college students typically don't pay attention to such details. Dongfang, what do you think? Hearing his name and the mention of the conjecture, Dongfang recalled studying it recently, so without hesitation, he blurted out the answer, the convergence of the Ricci flow. And he proceeded to outline the proof process, which aligned with the methods of academician Tian, but also had its unique aspects. He was demonstrating his understanding using his own approach. The professor was astonished. Can you write that down? On the board? Of course. Dongfang walked up to the podium and swiftly wrote down the key parts of the proof. The old professor grabbed his calculation notebook, continuously working through the math. And it wasn't until nearly half the class had passed that he finally stopped. Your proof is flawless. He was somewhat flustered. Everyone, self-study for now. I need to report this to the school. With his belongings in hand, the professor hurried out, skipping the rest of the class. The students were completely bewildered, wondering what the two had been discussing. Only after the professor left did the buzz of conversation begin, and they were relieved to avoid the tedious math lecture. In the following days, Dongfang became the center of attention on campus. He was pointed at while walking around, and people were gossiping about him in the cafeteria. Even while going to the restroom, onlookers followed to see what was happening, which made him quite annoyed. He decided to stay in more, only going out for class, and had his friends bring back meals for him. As the excitement gradually increased, provincial and national levels successively reported on the news, and unsurprisingly, the individual in question trended online. This person remained calm, simply reiterating what he had already learned, thinking that this hypothesis had long been proven. However, he couldn't say that. After all, how could he tell everyone that he had already learned it, and that they needn't pay attention? Nonsense. The school acted quickly, with rewards, honors, and reports following suit. Although he was reluctant to accept them, he couldn't refuse. So, he found himself on the podium wearing a flower, a highlight moment in life. As others saw it, the benefit of this was that his advisor beamed with joy, their smile revealing an astonishing 18 wrinkles. Moreover, he could take a leave of absence. Well, to be precise, his advisor proactively offered him time off, as being constantly watched could disrupt normal class order, right? So he went home. Fanger, my son, you still remember you have a home? If you don't come back soon, I'm afraid you won't recognize your mother anymore, she teased. You have such a good brain, just like me, unlike your dad. How did you prove that hypothesis? Clearly, his mother had seen the news. After a moment of thought, she said, it's not hard to show off. Definitely showing off. All right, your dad and I have already eaten. What do you want? I'll make it for you. Let us have some noodles. I haven't had them in a long time. His mother hurried into the kitchen, her movements catching his gaze, which settled on the worn wall. It was an old house, bought secondhand over a decade ago, and being on the top floor, years of use had aged its waterproofing. It was indeed somewhat dilapidated, with occasional leaks. Mom, I've gotten a lot of bonuses. Should we sell the old house and buy a new one? Why buy a new one? Our house is just fine, but the bonuses have to be turned in. We'll save them for you to get married. Her voice came from the kitchen, accompanied by the sizzling sound of hot oil. Knowing the outcome, he gave up and placed a bank card on the table. Here is my card. The password is my birthday. After enjoying a meal of his mother's handmade noodles, he contentedly lay down on his small but cozy bed. Rare moments of laziness indulged. The next day, he woke up early, as if energized, and resumed his daily exercise routine. After breakfast, he stepped out. He wanted to buy a house. His parents were reluctant, but with his ample funds, purchasing a home posed no pressure. It was also an investment to ensure he had a place to stay when returning late from the base in the future. Entering the sales office lobby, he found only a few people looking at properties. In recent years, housing prices in the city had skyrocketed, and fewer people were buying such large homes. The pre-sales training at the office was well done. There was no repeat of what had happened during his last visit. A young lady in a uniform approached him. Sir, are you here to look at properties? Yeah, Please introduce them, he nodded. Our main focus is on large flat units. Available in 3 types, 198, 268, and 368 square meters, with an average price starting at $18,900 per square meter, each unit priced individually. Would you like to see the 198, 268, or 368? Is there a ready-to-move-in unit for the 268? I'd like to see it in person. Of course. Let me contact the pickup vehicle for you, and also give you a detailed introduction to our house. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-living-room layout that will surely make her very happy. If this deal goes through, it could be enough for her bonus for half a year. The double doors are quite impressive, and the interior is exquisitely decorated with high-quality materials. Italian carpets, Hermes sofas, and luxurious furniture brands like Baker create a splendid atmosphere in such a large house. It certainly deserves its price tag of $83 million. The style is very appealing, luxurious yet understated, perfect for showing off at any time. So what's the total price? This is our golden floor, with a unit price of $32,000. If you pay in one go, there's a 3 discount, making the total $83,297 million yuan. Great, let us go for it. Are parking spaces included? Of course, 2 parking spaces are included, with direct elevator access. Without hesitation, the buyer and the sales representative returned to the lobby. Half an hour later, the buyer came out with a beautifully printed file, ready to pay in full, as they had the means to do so. The furniture is taken care of, but they still need bed linens, pots, and pans. Although the buyer hasn't mastered these skills, a home should look like a home. A quick trip to the shopping center got everything sorted. In Chapter 30, everything went smoothly. A 100-inch laser TV was purchased, quite nice. A hand-woven silk quilt was bought. A Manhattan sound system that can be wall-mounted, purchased as well. The shopping center welcomed a big client today, who didn't ask about prices and just bought whatever they liked. From home appliances to daily necessities, and from bedding to tableware, this big client was definitely a catch. The staff member who was initially a salesperson became the floor manager, successfully accommodating this client. Soon, news of this buyer spread through the mall. A big spender was in the house. Come and take a look. The buyer thought it was about time and turned to the floor manager following closely behind. That's it, let us finalize the order. Shortly after, the manager returned with a bank card and a receipt measuring 50 centimeters long, indicating a total expenditure of 860,000 yuan. Take care, and we will deliver everything to your door as soon as possible, they said, seeing the buyer off with smiles. The manager felt delighted. Having a big client like this every day would be exhausting, but worth it. The buyer slumped onto the new sofa in their house. Realizing how tiring shopping could be, they decided that online shopping was the way to go from now on. Just a few taps, and waiting at home was much better. Then the doorbell rang, revealing the delivery personnel from the shopping center, who had packaged everything meticulously. Boss, you bought quite a lot, the sweating delivery person said with a sheepish smile. A lot of necessities for the new home, the buyer replied, tossing 3 packs of cigarettes to the worker. Thank you for your hard work. The worker caught the cigarettes and smiled broadly. The afternoon passed with the workers busily unpacking while the buyer relaxed and played on their phone. After the delivery personnel cleaned up all the packaging and trash, they left the new home. The next day, after enjoying the ultimate sleeping experience on a 190,000 yuan Hason's 2000T mattress, the buyer felt completely satisfied. He began his daily training, gradually increasing his speed as he repeated the challenging poses over and over, sweat pouring down like rain, until a wave of heat flowed through his body, his hands filled with strength. With a gentle grip, the treadmill's handles creaked under the strain, his power surged, and his body experienced an all-around enhancement. Dongfang realized that the level 1 gene serum had been fully absorbed, and he could now advance to the training of the first-generation mech. Nova silently called out, "At your service, sir. The level 1 gene serum has been completely absorbed, and you can proceed to practical training with the first-generation mech." Of course, no problem. The shuttle will be on standby above you at 10 p.m. tonight. After washing up and changing clothes, he headed out for breakfast. Today, he had another important matter to attend to, getting his driver's license. Despite the perilous experiences he had faced underwater, there was no doubt that he had grown fond of the exhilarating sensation of speed. Looking at the sign at the entrance that read Smooth Journey Driving School, Dongfang felt a bit speechless. Is this even a legitimate driving school? Did Wang Ming take advertising fees from them? Fonger, you're not in class, but I still have to attend, Wang Ming said in a low voice. Though Dongfang could hear him clearly. Don't worry, this driving school is fine. I took my test there. Wang Ming added, I can't talk now, I'm in class. You probably got a referral fee, huh? Dongfang thought resentfully. Well, since he was already there, he might as well take a look inside. Hello, young man. Are you here to sign up for driving lessons? The staff in the reception hall were very enthusiastic. He was used to maintaining his cool demeanor in front of strangers, saying very little. Is this your first time? Our driving school is the best in the city. Choosing us will be a great decision. To meet the diverse needs of our clients, We have different packages for you to choose from. As he took the promotional brochure from the young lady, Dongfang thought to himself, oh wow. The cover boldly proclaimed, Smooth Journey Driving School, your ideal choice for easily obtaining a license. Excellent skills, quick certification. Practice and test at our school. Learn anytime, guaranteed to master. Sign up now for a 15% discount. Limited spots available. The discount was quite substantial. But why did they print limited spots available in such small letters? Regular class, economic class, luxury class. Then he found the one he liked. The supreme class for white-collar workers, elites, wealthy individuals, and second-generation rich kids. Definitely not to be missed. The cost was 18,888 yuan. With dedicated guidance, learn anytime, single person per vehicle, 24-hour service. Choose your own experienced driver, select your vehicle, and if you don't pass, come and find me. Dongfang burst into laughter. The young lady squinted playfully. So, young man, which package are you interested in? That supreme class. Is there still a discount? I'm sorry, young man, the spots are limited. You're just a bit late. Just as he suspected. After swiping his card and paying, he received a manual titled Driving Test Handbook. He saw the information of the driver on his pad. Great, an experienced driver with varied skills. Whatever, he was mainly interested in the flexibility of learning anytime. Not bad. A used Jetta parked in front of me. It seems like every driving school buys this car, but it really is durable and sturdy. A man in a wrinkled suit, smoking a cigarette, got out of the car. With a scruffy beard and worn-out shoes that had collapsed at the heels, he looked quite distinctive. After scratching his greasy hair, he extended his hand and said, Hello, Jiang Yuan, your dedicated driving instructor. Dongfang nodded, walked around the back of the car, opened the passenger door, and got in. Damn. Jiang Yuan retracted his hand, flicked the ash off his cigarette, tilted his head, sat back in the car, and fastened his seatbelt. Let's start the first lesson. This is the steering wheel, and this is the dashboard, he said. Actually, I don't need that. I've practiced in a closed area before. Damn. Why didn't you say so earlier? Dongfang, did you ask me? He silently flipped the bird in his mind. Then shall we go straight to practical operation? Dongfang touched his nose. I have no objections. All right, let's switch places. Touching the familiar steering wheel, Dongfang felt a surge of excitement. He pressed the clutch, reached for the gear lever, and prepared to shift into drive. Huh, where's the drive? What S with 135 and R24? Young master, if I remember correctly, you signed up for C1, which is commonly known as a manual transmission. His face turned red. Then let's have Master Jiang take over. He glanced at Dongfang disdainfully and let out a humph. The two swapped places again, and this time Dongfang was very compliant. He sat steadily in the passenger seat, carefully listening to the explanation. After confirming that he understood the functions clearly, the Jetta finally started moving. Chapter 31. Sure, it was finally Dongfang's turn to drive. It was too easy. It was just like an automatic transmission, but with an extra clutch and a few more gears, right? Watch me impress you. He skillfully fastened his seatbelt, turned the ignition, pressed the clutch, shifted into first gear, and off he went. Unfortunately, the car jolted a few times and stalled. He lifted the clutch too quickly and didn't match the throttle. Both of them were caught off guard, and Jiang Yuan suddenly became aloof. Let us try again. This time, he started smoothly, but unfortunately, when shifting to second gear, the car jolted again. You get it. 5 minutes later, things changed, reversing into the parking space, starting on a slope, and navigating an S-curve. Dongfang executed everything flawlessly. Jiang Yuan was shocked. Was this kid just pretending? Who drives like this for the first time? Doing everything perfectly after just one demonstration, except for the initial start? Can someone tell me what is going on? You're impressive, right? Jiang Yuan even used a shouting technique in his mind. Unfortunately, no one could answer him, at least not anyone on this planet for now. As night fell, Dongfang finished his training. It wasn't difficult. A few more rounds, and he would have enough time to take the exam. The driving school recommended by Wang Ming was quite good. Feeling pleased, Dongfang walked out of the driving school, planning to have dinner. Today he wanted to try the local specialty, spicy garlic lamb blood. At 10 p.m. sharp, a shuttle soared through the night sky. Dongfang got another look at the huge energy shield. This time, the practical training was conducted at the base. The terrain here was multifaceted, making it more suitable for training. Arthur's holographic image appeared on the playground, as if he were a living person, quietly waiting for his arrival. Teacher, I'm here. Arthur nodded, finally realizing who Dongfang had learned from, a living example. Although the first-generation mech was considered entry-level, it was still quite challenging to operate. So you can't get on just yet. Let's start with simulated training. The metallic ground cracked open, and a capsule resembling a spaceship ascended. Lying down, he found himself in a changing room, with rows of lockers neatly arranged. Opening one revealed the clothes that needed to be changed into. Unlike the assisted mechs, the first-generation mechs required wearing a specially designed bodysuit. From head to toe, it wrapped around the person completely, leaving only a slightly deformed handsome face visible. As he opened the door of the changing room, a first-generation mech appeared before him. It wasn't very tall, standing at about 25 meters, with smooth lines and armor with sharp edges. A rifle was inserted into its back, and each leg had a handgun, clearly displaying a brutal aesthetic. Dongfang could even imagine it wielding dual guns, swiftly maneuvering on the battlefield, fiercely taking down enemies. Perfect. Even if it was just a virtual reality image. The mech's armor automatically split open, and Dongfang squeezed himself inside. The lining of the mech was very comfortable, soft, and cozy. Once inside, it automatically adjusted to fit. But it never felt stuffy. After a line of self-check information scrolled across the helmet's visor, the main computer's voice announced, "Self-check complete. All functions normal." The split armor closed seamlessly, as if forged from a single piece, and it was hard to believe that it had just been wide open. He lightly stepped with his right foot, feeling as if the entire mech had no weight at all. Then, he took a step with his right leg, and his legs split apart at a 180-degree angle, effortlessly achieving a perfect split. If he hadn't T-trained before, he would have either stayed in place for the entire afternoon or had to exit the virtual reality system. Clearly, his posture had been incorrect earlier, otherwise. How could he have made such intimate contact with the ground with his strength? Rising up, he adjusted his posture and took another step. This time he walked steadily, like a toddler taking their first steps, but soon the mech began to walk more steadily. Gradually, he tried to jog a couple of steps, although somewhat unsteady. He did not fall again. Later, he transformed into a flash of lightning, swift and powerful, stirring up strong winds that echoed throughout the training ground, showcasing his speed. Finally, he stopped. He had already become proficient in the basic control of the mech. Running, stopping, jumping, and rolling came easily. Arthur appeared at the right moment. Dongfang, you're already familiar with the mech, right? Yes, teacher. I feel like I could take it into battle, though there has to be a battlefield for that, haha. The enormous mech mimicked scratching its head, just like a real person. Oh really? Then let's give it a try. Arthur shook his shoulder-length blonde hair. An identical mech appeared before him, ready for action. The main operational mode of the first-generation mechs is assistive operation, which means that it works similarly to walking, running, and jumping. As long as you perform an action, the sensors embedded throughout the mech will receive signals and provide a significant boost in the same direction. However, this power has its limits. Otherwise, the mech could overload and exceed its capacity, failing to respond promptly to the operator. This encapsulates the pros and cons of the first-generation mechs, but the straightforward operation greatly reduces the requirements for neural response and physical fitness, leading to its widespread use among civilians and mobile warriors on the planetary ring. Two mechs stand 50 meters apart, facing each other. Confident in his outstanding physical condition and significantly enhanced neural response speed, Dongfang strikes first. He leans forward, stomps his right foot hard, and darts towards Arthur with a blur. At 30 meters, 10 meters, and 5 meters, he closes in rapidly, his metallic fist clenched, delivering a powerful right hook aimed at the opposing mech. With no intention of dodging, Arthur quickly raises his arm to block the incoming punch, then thrusts his right arm forward like a javelin, aiming directly at Dongfang's chest. Thinking that a timely change in strategy would allow him to evade, Dongfang miscalculated. Arthur slightly shifts to the side, catches Dongfang's kicking leg, and yanks it back. Dongfang finds himself in a split position, closely acquainted with the ground. Why is it always me? The sounds of their sparring echo throughout the training ground until Arthur's voice rings out. Warm-up complete. Entering training phase. The speed of the mechs increases significantly, while Dongfang stands dumbfounded in a defensive posture, shaking his head. Wasn't that just a warm-up? I thought we were in an intense battle. Why did you hit me hard just when I thought I was catching up? Arthur, you really are something, still able to get distracted and daydream. Arthur quickly notices Dongfang's state. The mech appears behind him and kicks out. Dongfang takes his third intimate contact with the ground, but this time it's his face. Thankfully, there's still the mech. Sigh. Arthur, you really are something. Chapter 32. A sudden idea for rescue. Gradually, Dongfang stops merely defending himself. Although he can only throw a few punches and execute a sweeping kick, this is a significant improvement compared to his previous constant encounters with the ground. Breathing heavily, the prolonged mental focus has pushed Dongfang's stamina to its limits. Why does Arthur seem so relaxed? Based on the movement speed, he should be using more stamina, right? This is a virtual reality system. Arthur is no different from a real human. Let's call it a day. Continuing won't serve much purpose. Teacher, why are you still in such good shape? Meanwhile, I've removed my armor. Dongfang plops down on the ground, lacking the image of a big boss. Haha. Piloting mechs in combat are actually very different. What is the focus of piloting? It's not just about using brute force. You need to master it. You need to carefully experience and continuously familiarize yourself with the performance of the mech, using the most suitable strength to operate it. Even a light touch can yield great results. This is the true essence of piloting. There seems to be some insights, yet they are hard to articulate. Much like at the very beginning when the force applied was minimal, but the mech responded swiftly and powerfully. By the end of the combat training, there was a strong desire to launch a powerful counterattack, which led to unexpected outcomes. After finishing the virtual reality training, although physically unexhausted, the mind was severely fatigued. Drowsiness, a heavy head, and various states kept arising. It was clear that a good sleep was needed. I really missed the large bed in my new apartment. Forget it. I'll just sleep at the base today. At 6:30 in the morning, I opened my eyes. My biological clock was always so punctual. After the daily required training, I unexpectedly got to eat sea urchin, abalone, and the grilled squid that I had wanted but couldn't get last time. Looking out from the building, it was like a panoramic skylight, with the ground seemingly covered by a glass dome. However, from the outside, there were only aesthetically pleasing metal patterns. There was no glass dome at all. Humanity on this planet truly loves real-time scenic views to the core. At 8 a.m., I put on the extremely tight custom mech suit and boarded a Starground transport ship. It resembled a giant caterpillar bread, but it was smoother. There were 6 hatches all around, capable of simultaneously transporting 200 humanoid bionic robots, with a mech garage at both the front and back, accommodating 10 first-generation mechs. Don't be deceived by its somewhat cute exterior. Despite its large carrying capacity, it could easily break through supersonic speeds. Thus, I appeared above the province of Britannia in a large country, less than 300 meters in a straight line from Meng Wan's residence. The dense forest was close to dawn. There's a 13-hour time difference with that large country, so there was no one around, not even birds, which were still asleep. 6 rapid descent cables dropped down, and 20 humanoid bionic robots along with 1 mech descended. By the way, everyone must be wondering what this is for. This goes back to yesterday when I saw a trending headline. Upon opening the news, there was a highly discussed piece of information. Ms. Meng Wan had been restricted from freedom for 700 days. For those who don't know, look it up. What is going on? As I clicked to read more, I became very angry, and upon a closer look, I was shocked. Isn't this when my company has no partners? Fully armed, I arrived. The unmanned aerial vehicle quickly ascended, and the mech's visor immediately transmitted an image, not only in high definition, but also with 0 delay. What is going on? Why are there so many soldiers stationed nearby? This isn't normal, very abnormal. The aircraft lowered its altitude, and 2 soldiers were hiding in the corner of a tent, smoking. What kind of situation is this? One of them nodded. The big country wants to arrest people, and they insist on having a station for defense. Has the old brigade commander lost his mind? Who would come here? It's been almost 2 years. This bunch of nonsense. Shoo, keep it down. What are we afraid of? Everyone's asleep. Seeing the 2 leave, I brought my index and middle fingers together and waved them forward. In less than 5 minutes, all personnel within the direct line of sight were physically eliminated. Recently, Meng Wan has been having trouble sleeping. The prolonged confinement has lasted over 700 days. Trapped in a small 2-story villa, reading and cooking occupy most of her time, but even things she enjoys can become tiresome, especially with the recent gloomy and cold weather. It has further darkened her mood, much like the overcast sky. Sleep, sleep, what else can I do if I don't sleep? Meng Wan thought silently to herself. She heard what seemed to be a faint knocking outside the door, but she couldn't be sure. Upon listening closely, she heard a series of knocks. Feeling a bit frustrated, she got out of bed. So late, could it be those overindulgent officers again? She opened the door and seemed to see a shadow, then everything went dark. Dongfang handed Meng Wan, who was in his arms, over to a nearby robot, thought for a moment, and then re-entered the villa. Before long, he emerged carrying a large suitcase, while the robot remained motionless in its original position until Dongfang issued a departure command. A person and a group of robots returned along the same path to board the ship. However, because Meng Wan was wearing thick sleep pants, Dongfang didn't notice the electronic shackles beneath them. Recently, the alarm for the specialized alert system for restricted individuals at the nearby police station suddenly went off. The nearby military camp erupted with noise, and squads of soldiers rushed out, rifles in hand. Following the location signals, they headed straight in the direction Dongfang had left. With armored vehicles mobilizing, their rumbling sounds tearing through the quiet night. Just as Dongfang was about to return, he saw the images sent by the aircraft through instant messaging. What a hassle. I only wanted to leave quietly, but a moment of carelessness. Remembering the shackles Meng Wan wore in the photo, Dongfang immediately rolled up her pant leg and with a high-frequency pulse dagger, sliced the electronic shackles in half. By the time the soldiers arrived, they only found the shackles lying on the ground, with nothing else remaining. Realizing the situation was beyond their control, the soldiers reported the incident. However, how could a third-rate military detect an extraterrestrial civilization 2 levels beyond the blue planet? At this moment, the transport ship had already moved far away, positioned directly above a major country's destroyer. Glancing back at the slightly haggard Meng Wan, Dongfang descended via the rapid descent cable landing on the deck, which seemed to be deserted at that moment. Instructor Arthur had said that the best training comes from real combat drills, and this was the first time. Chapter 33. So bright a pair of metal-clad feet stomped down, clanking and echoing, the sound of metal colliding mingling with the crashing waves, resonating across the destroyer's deck. How could a warship be empty? The answer was inevitable. There must be someone. Hyuk was a naval seaman assigned to the major country's navy upon enlistment. However, as a landlubber, he had detested the sea from the first day he boarded the ship. If he didn't disembark, the constant rocking would make him regurgitate yesterday's leftover meal within 24 hours. The cursed sea. I don't want to stay here for another moment. Frustrated and unable to sleep, Hook stepped out of the cramped cabin to get some fresh air on the deck. As he emerged, he stretched lazily, greedily inhaling the slightly salty and humid air. He felt great in that moment. After doing a few stretching exercises, he looked up and was startled to see a humanoid robot over 2 meters tall in front of him. What is this? He couldn't quite comprehend it. Who placed a mech model here? But it looked so cool. Wait, something's off. Why is it moving? Why is it walking towards me, not running, but... Then his thoughts abruptly stopped, plunging him into darkness. A massive mech was holding a soldier, whose neck was twisted unnaturally. Some water dripped down the soldier's pants. How disgusting. This guy actually lost control. The mech casually tossed the soldier aside. As if that wasn't enough, its metallic hand scraped against the wall beside the hatch, producing a harsh grinding sound, leaving a handprint and 5 deep grooves on the metal surface. Opening the hatch and glancing at the cramped interior, Hook frowned. This space was not conducive for the mech's performance. Suddenly, he had an idea. The mech effortlessly tore the oval hatch off like it was paper, lifting it high. It then slammed it down onto the deck, creating a tremendous noise that echoed throughout the ship. Alarms blared. Disheveled soldiers rushed out from the hatch. Like Hook, they thought the mech was just a model. The alarm was turned off. It was a prank. Someone had placed a mech model on the deck. Reports came in, and the deck was clear, with only the mech model standing there. Shit, I'm so sleepy, I'll just go back to sleep. The crowd turned and headed back towards the hatch. But wait, why does the model still have the hatch in its hand? As they reached the damaged hatch, the soldiers finally realized what was happening. A deafening roar echoed, and the soldiers trying to return were struck by a giant bowling ball. One by one, they were knocked back, crashing against the ship's body, creating a cacophony of sound. Even the captain of the warship, no matter how oblivious, felt that something was off. The automatic rapid-fire cannon whirred to life, its barrel aimed at the mech. The sound of gunfire erupted, with metal projectiles densely converging towards it. With a powerful stomp on the deck, the mech dodged to the left, and the storm of metal shifted with it. It pursued relentlessly, twisting and turning. But some of the shells still hit. After all, an automatic rapid-fire cannon firing 20,000 rounds per minute was no joke. The energy shield shimmered with ripples. The mech knew it couldn't get hit again, or it would face the grim reality of destruction. In the face of this life-and-death crisis, its understanding of piloting the first-generation mech became even more refined. Although it was continuous high-intensity movement, it felt that the physical drain was far less than during training with Teacher Arthur. The mobility of the mech evolved from its initial speed and intensity to something more graceful, even carrying a hint of natural elegance. Like birds slicing through the sky or fish swimming freely in the sea, he needed an external force to help him break through. He took a gamble, constantly dodging and executing various incredible maneuvers. Finally, a shot from the cannon shattered the energy shield, which was as thin as a piece of paper. The crisis of life and death. He couldn't afford to be hit again, not even once. Otherwise, the shield would break. His movements became even faster, and he even wanted to slowly approach the cannon. In just a few seconds, it felt like an eternity to him. Suddenly, he felt time slow down again as the cannon moved slowly past him, bullet time, dragging ripples through the air. He broke through, both his body and piloting skills transcending their limits, entering the next stage. He confidently approached the cannon and delivered a punch that sent the base along with the 36-barrel rapid-fire cannon crashing down into the sea. A somewhat lucky soldier, who only broke his left leg, witnessed this scene. To him, the mech, which had initially been dodging awkwardly, seemed to undergo a remarkable transformation in an instant. It moved with ghostly speed, having just been desperately evading, now appearing beside the cannon as if teleporting. Having dealt with the greatest threat aboard the ship, he turned to see a soldier holding a rifle. Hey, he felt a bit relaxed now. He patted his shoulder, which had no dust at all, and drew his high-frequency pulse sword from his waist. With quick strikes, sweeps, thrusts, adjustments, and slashes, anything that touched it would meet a swift end. No one could withstand the mech's immense power. The smell of roasting flesh spread, with charred body parts scattered everywhere. The deck was now devoid of any people. He cut through doors that couldn't be opened normally, advancing relentlessly. Anything that blocked his way was immediately sliced open. Nothing could impede his path. He turned a new naval ship, launched less than 2 years ago, into ruins. Sparks flew inside, and flames ignited in several places, with thick smoke billowing. Excellent. This is what should happen when taking down a warship. Observing the scene, he displayed a satisfied expression. He effortlessly sliced open the firmly locked command cabin door and stepped inside. What are you? Don't come any closer. Reinforcements will arrive soon. I advise you to leave before the armed helicopters turn you into a beehive. The captain's legs trembled, using threats and enticements as a last effort to survive. Don't worry. I'm not one to kill innocents. Fluent French flowed from his lips. What do you want? Oh, nothing much. Just wanted to see how you sycophants behave when faced with a power stronger than your masters. Did you see it? Huh. For survival, what does face matter? Heh. I'm quite satisfied to see you grovel. He turned and exited the command cabin, returning to the deck, and using the descent line, went back to the troop transport ship. Huh, he really left? The destroyer captain stood in the observation room, watching the figure of Dongfang depart. Slightly relieved, he was about to instruct the communications officer to report the situation. However, a circular high-energy mine attached to the oil depot detonated just in time. With a loud explosion, the destroyer was instantly engulfed in a massive fireball. Dongfang had just wanted to light a lamp for the sea, to provide a glimmer of hope in the dark waters, guiding the fishing boats back home. He succeeded. Look, it's really bright. Chapter 34. An uproar before Meng Wan woke up. Dongfang placed her in her home in the city. Although he initially knocked her out, later he used an efficient deep sleep medication to ensure she remained asleep. Dongfang had used this medication as well. It was not only harmless, but also beneficial. Just by looking at her relaxed brow, one could tell how good her sleep was. Dongfang didn't dare wait for her to wake up. What if she asked who did this? He opened the window, stepped onto the anti-gravity lift, and vanished. Oh, today I slept so comfortably. Meng Wan sat up in bed. It was already getting dark outside, so the room could only be faintly illuminated by the light coming through the window, making it hard to see clearly. This was the most comfortable sleep she had ever had. There were no disturbing dreams, no annoying law enforcement to harass her. What a wonderful day. But isn't it still dark? Wait, this isn't the villa from that major country. This is a high-rise residence in the city. She pinched her face hard. Am I dreaming? Just from a nap? I'm back in my home in the city? But everything felt so real. And her face still felt a bit hot from the pinch. She picked up the phone on the table. Dad, I think I'm home? Are you confused? Elder Chin from the flower company received a call from his eldest daughter. Can that group of lackeys from the major country bring you back? Dad, look at the phone. Is it the number from my residence in the city? It seems, kind of yes. Elder Chin was a bit uncertain. He put down the phone and checked. Indeed, it was a number from the city. To be precise, it was his daughter's phone number. How did you come back? I don't know. I just took a nap. I'm coming over now. Wait for me. After leaving Meng Wan's place, Dongfang returned to his own home. This trip took a total of 4 hours, half an hour longer than he had planned. So, he hurriedly changed clothes and went out. He had already arranged to meet Jiang Yuan yesterday. I have nothing left to teach you. Jiang Yuan was speechless. He had never encountered such a brazen student. Just look at his poor performance. It seemed he couldn't even start the vehicle. In just one afternoon, plus 2 hours today, during the practical driving test, he made a single mistake. Not even a tiny one. He must have driven for hundreds of hours before coming here. Instructor, I feel like I still have some issues with parallel parking. Keep pretending. I'll just quietly watch you show off. You drive better than I do. And you're still acting like a novice. I don't think it's necessary anymore. You can practice on your own. I'll get out and have a smoke. When you've accumulated enough hours, just take the test for the first, second, third, and fourth levels. After saying this, without waiting for a response, he opened the car door and sat down on the curb to smoke. Well, there's really nothing much left to learn. Driving alone, he kept circling the training ground. Sometimes he would stop the car to enthusiastically help female students who were still getting used to starting on an incline. Give it gas, half clutch, wait, okay. The car shook, released the clutch. See, isn't it easy to start now? Satisfied, he nodded, feeling a sense of accomplishment, enjoying the role of a teacher in his own way. After finally accumulating enough practice hours, he immediately got out of the car. Without looking back, he exited through the main gate, thinking about having a meal from his favorite local restaurant. At home, he received polite greetings from his 3 roommates on his phone. After responding to each one, he lay down on his luxurious bed. The next day, sitting on the sofa, he was carefully sipping some slightly hot milk while checking the morning headlines. A spokesperson for the Foreign Affairs Department stated, "We express our serious protest and strong dissatisfaction regarding the actions of certain major powers. Comrade Meng Wan has disappeared from her residence without reason while being restricted in her personal freedom. The officials from that country have yet to provide a reasonable explanation, and our citizens are being restricted under baseless accusations. The recent situation is extremely irresponsible, and we will closely monitor the relevant circumstances." Another country commented, The recent conduct of that major power has been utterly disappointing, indicating significant vulnerabilities in national security and defense. A third country added, "It seems there may have been a secret escape. Let us see how we handle this." A fourth country chimed in, "The world belongs to us. Except for the big brother, everyone else is insignificant." The remaining followers urged, "Hurry up and find the person for the big brother, or we'll deal with you together." The major power responded, At this, he spat out a mouthful of milk. Initially puzzled as to why there was no news about Meng Wan, he finally understood upon seeing the official statement. How could these petty individuals possibly challenge the official stance of a major power? With just a few words, they were being put down. The global community was in an uproar, shocked at how inadequate a country could be. People had disappeared, and they were still unaware. Turning off the TV and wiping the spilled milk, he changed his clothes and headed out. He needed to go to school to address an important matter. In the office of his advisor, Zhang Min said, "Things have calmed down over the past couple of days. You can return to class now." In this age of information overload, people's attention span rarely lasts more than 3 days. "I was just about to look for you to talk," he replied. "What do you want to discuss?" "Let me think about it." "Teacher, let me be honest with you. I've completely mastered the knowledge we are learning now. Can you give me a pass? I want more time for self-study." "Oh, that's a pretty good reason." "Hee, just because you've made some progress in math, you're getting cocky?" Zhang Min isn't falling for that. "Hey, teacher, I'm an honest kid. I don't do anything dishonest. Dongfang is just bragging." "Fine. How about this? I'll ask every teacher to give you a set of papers, and if you score above 95, I'll agree to it." Zhang Min was alert. She knew Dongfang's grades from the winter break, top of the grade, so she raised the score requirement. "No matter how cunning you are, you still have to drink my bathwater." "Is it really that simple? Are you sure?" "No, I misspoke. It has to be above 98. Let me add a bit more pressure. Do you really think you're a genius?" "Dongfang, that works too." Chapter 35, an unconventional exam. Not knowing what was going on with the advisor, Dongfang had to behave like a good student for the next few days. He sat quietly in class, learning more about geography and astronomy from teacher Arthur, finding it hard to absorb the lectures as they were too simple. Learning, constantly learning, and occasionally playing some games with the 3 roommates were the main components of his school life. On weekends, he returned home to spend a harmonious yet ordinary weekend with his parents. Early Monday morning, on his way to class, Dongfang received a call from his advisor, Zhang Min. "Dongfang, where are you?" "I'm on my way to class." "What's the instruction, teacher?" "About what we discussed last week. Come to teaching building 101, room 502. After hanging up, Dongfang shrugged to his 3 buddies. "Brothers, I'm off to my wonderful life. Bye. Remember to tell the teacher that my advisor called for me." "What does your advisor want with you?" Zhang Wei's face twisted into a curious expression. "Huh? Didn't he expect you to be so impressive? You can handle your advisor?" The expression was as lewd as it could get. Yeah. Tell us, enlighten us." Yang Xiao chimed in with an approving look. "What are you guys thinking? Forget it. You'll find out when today's over. I'm off." Zhang Min was pacing in front of room 502, her excitement palpable. The teachers, as energized as if they'd been given a shot of adrenaline, were all seated in the classroom, waiting. Each desk had a folder in front of them, containing exam questions carefully prepared based on their years of teaching experience. Guaranteed you wouldn't find them on the internet, or even anything similar. They were just waiting for Dongfang to make a fool of himself. When Dongfang appeared in the hallway, the advisor quickly stepped forward and grabbed him. "I've already made the announcement. The teachers are ready, just waiting to see you embarrass yourself." "Haha, don't worry, teacher." As he entered the classroom, aside from the math teacher who looked pleased, the rest of the professors had eyes wide open like saucers, all with a predatory look. "Don't think you've solved the Hatian conjecture. You have this kind of talent in other subjects too." The exam officially begins, and the first subject is advanced mathematics. The professors sit in a circle to assess whether this student truly has the skills in mathematics. As expected, the student's math level is outstanding. What was originally a 2-hour exam was completed in just 20 minutes. The exam paper was filled to the brim on both sides. Moving on to the next subject, university physics. This time it took a bit longer, 25 minutes, to finish. The physics teacher stepped back to grade the papers. "See," the teacher surprisingly pulled out a laptop. "No more written exams, it's practical now." In the main function, implement a function call to swap 2 data values and output the addresses of each element in a one-dimensional array using pointers. The question isn't difficult, but asking a freshman who hasn't studied this yet to write it, well, certainly not. But what about this student? It was a piece of cake. 1 include iStream, 2 code runs perfectly. Another teacher falls. Next up, engineering drawing. The computer is still in use. Let us start with the 3-view drawing of a mechanism. CAD drawing, done in 5 minutes. The exam paper, completed in 5 minutes. Linear algebra and computer basics. From the start of the exam to the end, it took less than 2 hours. The student comfortably sat in the back of the classroom, leaving the front seats for the teachers. They sat upright at their desks, writing furiously. 100. No, I have to check again. There must be something I missed. 100 points, that's right. I've checked it 3 times. Are they testing the student or me? After grading the papers, all the teachers involved in today's exam gathered together. So, can the student get a perfect score in physics? Yes, perfect score. What about engineering drawing? English? All perfect. I didn't assign an essay for English. The advisor Zhang Min was visibly pleased. This student really did it. They called the student over. All perfect scores. You don't pay attention in class. When did you learn all this? The teachers stared blankly at the student. I just self-study efficiently. The class pace might be a bit slow, but it's just right for other classmates. Zhang Min turned to the teachers. Now you can all sign the application, right? The old professor of advanced mathematics. No problem. I'll sign. The remaining teachers stayed silent, each quietly signing their names. As they were leaving, the physics teacher spoke up. We will keep an eye on you. As long as your final score is below 95, you will still get a failing grade. Make sure to come back to class. Of course, teacher. At this moment, the student appeared quite obedient, the earlier arrogance completely gone. The math teacher was the last to leave, patting the student on the shoulder. Good job. I have high hopes for you. Keep it up, and you can apply for my graduate program. Wow. Now it was the student's turn to be stunned. The professor's achievements in the field of mathematics can definitely be regarded as significant. He has the right to enroll students independently. When he said this, it meant that Dongfang could receive the admission notice for the graduate program in applied mathematics right after graduation. Teacher, there are still 3 years until graduation. I will think it over seriously. The math professor didn't say anything more, just nodded and left the room. Zhang Min picked up the report in her hand and handed it to Dongfang, saying, take a look. How is it? The teacher delivered on what he said. The application report for exempting outstanding university student Dongfang from classes. Haha. Teacher, you are really great. I like you so much. You child, don't say such things. What do you mean by liking? Zhang Min felt a bit shy. After all, she wasn't much older than her students. All right. I have to take this to the administration office. She pulled the report back from Dongfang's hands and walked away in her high heels. Dongfang happily turned around and headed straight for the Wanxiang Plaza. The person in charge who had received Dongfang last time was patrolling the first-floor lobby when he suddenly saw a familiar figure. Rich guy, you're back. I've missed you. Rubbing his hands, he jogged toward Dongfang. Hello, Mr. Dongfang. Last time, he had secretly checked the delivery information and learned about Dongfang. Do you have any stored value cards? Still maintaining his aloof demeanor. Yes. We have anonymous stored value cards for 10, 000, 20, 000, 50, 000, and 100. 000. Which one do you want? One for 5, 000, please. Are you sure it's 5, 000? Not 50, 000. Without answering, Dongfang quietly looked at him. Understood. This way, please. He gestured for Dongfang to follow. Chapter 36. Not quite proficient, the floor manager at Wanxiang Plaza stood at the door once again, bowing and nodding as he saw Dongfang off. Only bought 5, 000, not quite fitting the rich guy style, he muttered as he returned to continue his unfinished patrol. Dongfang took a taxi back to the school. It seemed that taxi drivers everywhere in Huagua were quite chatty. Once they learned that Dongfang was a student at a prestigious university, they couldn't stop discussing various topics. The park across the street is great. And this school has many good students, but some just don't study well, dating in middle school, and so on. Finally arriving at the school gate, Dongfang couldn't sit still any longer. He paid the fare and rushed toward the school without looking back, even as the driver called out from behind. Hey, slow down. Don't fall. Dongfang reached the building where his advisor's office was located and took out his phone. Teacher, are you in the office? What are you doing here again? I already delivered the report to you. What else do you need? Teacher, I just wanted to see you. I feel uneasy if I don't see you. I'm here. Come up, Zhang Min said helplessly, a bit exasperated. She waved him over, and Dongfang walked up to her desk. Are you busy? Zhang Min replied without looking up, focused on her work. You shouldn't work too hard. Look at your skin. It's worse than before. Is it? She immediately stopped her work, took out a small mirror she carried, and looked into it. Hey, women are like this. Dongfang pointed at her face. Look here, it's a bit dull. And you have dark circles. TSK, you need some skincare. Oh, it seems like there's really a perfect opportunity to get involved. Don't rush, teacher. Although I don't know what cosmetics you need, I quietly took out a gift card and slipped it under your book. Zhang Min exclaimed, what are you doing? Hurry and take it back. Pushing it back into the teacher's hand, I whispered, Teacher, have you heard of smart assistants? Successfully shifting the topic. Of course. I'm still using one. It's really useful. Hee, I developed it. Do you believe it? Go ahead and boast. Dongfang quietly took out his phone to show the teacher the patent certificate. Recently, Gao Yuan applied for a patent and, as soon as he received the certificate, eagerly sent it to Dongfang, which led to this scene. I didn't expect someone like you to come out of our class. A little genius. The teacher wanted to ask how much money was made, Did you earn $1 billion? Hee, not much, less than $1 billion. The instructor was shocked. Then I will accept it as your way of repaying me. Comparing 5,000 to 1 billion. She felt that 5,000 didn't seem much anymore. Just take it. After all, this is my first time giving a gift. I'm not very skilled at it, so it's a bit awkward. I'll try harder next time. Try harder for what? Haha. You little rascal. I didn't expect you to be so slick. All set. Completely free. Dongfang told his parents that he was too busy to go home and told the school that he was more efficient studying at home. So, he confidently came to the company. Boss, why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be in class? Zhang Hao, the sycophant, immediately noticed the big boss. What? Can I come? Of course you can. Feel free to come. After a laugh, he followed Dongfang into the boss's office. Then quietly closed the door and ran off to inform everyone in the company. In the mountains of the southwest, there is a secret base. A man with a big star on his shoulder was anxiously standing by the computer. So, how's the computer simulation result? Old Zhao is still waiting for the results. Half a month ago, a special forces team came from the military district in the capital, escorting a small USB drive. It is said to contain national-level secrets. The complete data of the F-119 vector engine. Lu Jiangwo. Yes, the one just standing by the computer. When he first received the USB drive, he scoffed at it, thinking, is this a joke? The highly classified military secrets of certain countries could end up in our hands. If we could have it, we would have been using our own aero engines long ago. Why wait until now? With the thought of exposing the ulterior motives of the person who delivered the materials, he opened the USB drive. As a technical expert who has been researching domestic aero engines for 20 years, he had the confidence. First, he looked at the blueprints. They look quite promising, the nozzle guide blades. No problem, more scientific than ours, with subtle angle differences. Turbine blades? No issues there either. Combustion chamber? Still no problems. He got engrossed, from the design blueprints to the material ratios, from structure to electrical layout. He didn't find any issues. Instead, he gained new insights into the Kunlun 20 that he had already developed. He saw many of his own shortcomings and areas where improvements could be made. This is true. The strength of the nation and the authority of the leader echoed in his mind as he repeatedly thought of these two phrases, as if no other expressions could convey his excitement. Ignoring that it was already close to midnight, he picked up the secure phone. Is the leader there? He knew the leader's character and that he was waiting for him. Hold on, let me connect you. The sweet voice of the operator faded away. Hello, Jiangua. How's it going? The leader was indeed very genuine. Where did you get this from? That's not for you to worry about. I want to see results as soon as possible. Start the replication work. The nation is waiting for the outcome. Yes, I will ensure the task is completed. Putting down the phone, the leader ran his fingers through his silver hair, puzzled. What is this kid's background? I've checked online. And his family is just a regular farming one. He's just an ordinary student. Where did he get this information? The silver-haired general dialed his second call of the night. Jinyu, what did that kid with the USB drive say to you? Grandpa, why are you still awake so late? Is what that kid provided really important? No need for so much talk, just answer. I've told you more than 10 times. He didn't say much, just that it was for the country's needs. Besides, he is my younger brother, named Dongfang. Don't just call him that kid. Alright, I'll have Xiaosu visit you tomorrow. You both can investigate further. Wait. Since it's beneficial for the nation, shouldn't we protect him? Who said anything about doing anything to him? Just ask a few questions. What is the problem? Fine. Let Xiaosu come, and remember to bring me some good tea. I'm almost out of what I have here. You're wasting my good tea. Alright. I'm hanging up now. I'm going to meet Dongfang. Chapter 37. Purchase early the next morning, Dongfang got up early. The cleaning staff had already made the company spotless. Last night, just before going to bed, Dongfang received news that Zhao Zhanyu was coming to the company, and he mysteriously said to perform well, which would be beneficial for the future. Reluctantly, Dongfang notified the administration overnight, resulting in today as fresh and clean scene. At 10 o'clock a.m. sharp, Zhao Zhanyu arrived at the company. Welcome, secretary, for your inspection. Dongfang even pulled out a banner at the entrance. This kid was becoming increasingly adept at these tactics. Don't do this kind of nonsense in the future, Zhao Zhanyu pointed to the banner. But standing beside him today was a young man in a suit, standing tall and exuding an air of competence, far from ordinary. Dongfang sensed something unusual and led the way, inviting the two into the office. The clerk brought in hot tea. Secretary, this tea can't compare to yours. But please make do. Alright, stop joking. Today, I'm just a guest. This gentleman beside me is the main person. His name is Su Gu. Hello, Su Gu. The East is as obedient as a cat. Hello, comrade from the East. There's no need for any formalities today. I'm just here to have a casual chat with you. You can speak freely, and I will certainly provide honest answers without any concealment. The organization's policies have already been understood on your side. This is a follow-up regarding the submission of information. What relatives do you have at home? My family is quite small, just my grandmother, father, mother, and me. This is where we need to find a breakthrough in family relationships. Oh, did your grandfather pass away due to illness? It's clear from the investigation, so why ask? However, this cannot be said. I can only honestly state, yes. My grandmother mentioned he fell ill and passed away before reaching 50. I apologize for being a bit abrupt. Who did you learn computer programming from? I taught myself some, and I also learned online from predecessors in the hacker community. Oh, predecessors. This is a key term, and it has drawn the attention of the young man, Xiao Su. Who are they? They are some individuals with a strong sense of justice. I haven't met them in person, but their skills are top-notch, focusing on combating hackers and finding vulnerabilities. Indeed, how could an 18-year-old develop an intelligent assistant and obtain confidential documents all on his own? There must be a group of top-tier hackers behind him. And he is just a front. Perhaps due to special circumstances, these hackers obtained the information, and these patriotic tech experts handed it over to the country through the East. Without exposing themselves, the young man, known as Xiao Su, thought a lot and, believing he had gained key information, decided to end the conversation. After all, the more one says, the more information is exposed. Thank you for your hospitality today, he said, standing up to shake hands with the East before turning to leave. Brother, let me see Xiao Su off, said the East, as he saw Zhao Jinyu out and exchanged a few words with Xiao Su, who then shook hands and bid farewell. Zhao Jinyu returned to the company. Brother, I want to leave for lunch today. Let's see how your food is, he said. No problem. I wholeheartedly welcome you. After some casual chit-chat, the East suddenly had an idea. Brother, do we still have land in the park? Are you thinking of starting a business? Zhao Jinyu's eyes lit up. This could lead to a whole industrial chain. Yes, we do have such an idea. The company is expanding, and the rented office is too cramped. We want to build an office building first. That's great. There's a piece of vacant land of 68 acres on the west side of the park, with all the paperwork in order, ready for auction at any time. Plus, it's a bit remote here, so the land price is low, just over 1 million per acre. All right, then it's settled. I'll arrange for someone to submit the application. After a simple lunch, Zhao Jinyu left by car. He is truly a good secretary. Aside from appearing a bit cynical in front of acquaintances, he always considers the needs of the people, whether it's about meals, travel, or attire. Nothing elaborate, very simple. Unlike a young master from the capital, recently, the company has been researching operating systems. Although the related plans have been slightly delayed, they intend to start the R&D work in advance. A complete computer system consists of both hardware and software systems. Currently, the hardware system cannot undergo significant changes, as the company is unable to produce even a single chip. Thus, the breakthrough can only come from the software system, which can be further divided into 4 main components: drivers, the kernel, support libraries, and peripherals. If we break it down further, it includes process management, memory management, file systems, network communication, security mechanisms, and the user interface, UI, which is the visual interface people interact with daily, along with drivers and applications. This is quite a large project. But with the successes of Nova as a precedent, the work at hand will naturally be more efficient. They are currently working on writing the kernel program. At this moment, a colleague walked in. Hey, we have results. He was holding a Bluetooth speaker. We've taken the first step toward the Internet of Things. The smart speaker matching process is complete. Before he could respond, the colleague placed the colorful speaker on the desk and said, Hello, I'm here, master. Is this song not to your liking? Would you like to change it? No need, I was just calling out. Well, I'm always at your service. Great. It seems that everyone's efforts have paid off. The speaker nodded, pleasantly surprised by the performance of the new recruits in the coding industry. His colleague continued. We urgently need to solve the issue of production equipment for the speakers. Having a product doesn't help if we can't recoup our investment. Don't worry. I was just about to discuss this with you, he replied with a slight smile. I've already reported it to the secretary. We've purchased the vacant land in the west. You can find a reliable design company for the proposal, and make sure to have Li Chang coordinate with the management committee. Let's get the land back first. Nice work. Opportunity knocks for those who are prepared. I'll tell the team to continue with the development. Next, we'll venture into smart home products. You can decide on that. I'll just oversee the direction. All right, I can already see the profits coming in. The efficiency of the company was impressive. By the afternoon, the management committee had received the land purchase intention letter they submitted. Since this was a task assigned by the secretary, no one would neglect it, and they quickly initiated the land bidding process. Chapter 38. Launching the material laboratory recently, the individual had been enjoying more freedom at the company. Aside from the necessary training, studying, eating, and sleeping each day, he dedicated all his time to writing kernel code. The kernel is akin to giving life to a being. Without the kernel, the operating system cannot run. Therefore, full commitment is essential to achieve the best results. Despite Nova's assistance, the technological level of their company is still far behind that of others. If they want to present an operating system from their planet, they will face significant challenges ahead. The originally concise and smooth programming language is being transformed into a more complex version that aligns with current mainstream application methods, which is quite a significant workload. Therefore, the eastern side has completely abandoned the operating system of the planet, focusing solely on learning and drawing inspiration. They are contemplating a new operating system that matches the hardware capabilities of the blue planet, without distinguishing between macro, micro, or hybrid kernels. They have discarded all existing kernel types and creatively developed a new core. This new core is more efficient and convenient than the currently mainstream kernels, with a lower likelihood of errors. Next came a long wait. With the slow progress of software compilation, the role of compilation is to translate programs into a language that computers can understand and execute. After an hour, the time is based on the eastern side's disguised computer, so please don't take it too literally. It passed perfectly. Stretching and yawning, the eastern side showed a satisfied expression. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Li Chong walked in. Boss, the preliminary program for the auction has been completed, and it will start this afternoon. You should be there to oversee it. Calculating the time, it has been over 2 weeks since reaching an agreement with Zhao Jinyu. It should be time for the auction. Let us ask Xie Jing how much funds we have in our account. The eastern side closed the computer and got up to pour a glass of water. I already inquired. Major mobile giants like Huaduo, Xiaodo, and BBK have all paid as per the contract, and we have ample funds, with over 3.8 billion yuan in the account. The eastern side felt a bit happy. Unknowingly, I now have over 300 million. I can be considered a diamond man. All right, let us go this afternoon. After a simple lunch, a friend remarked, another simple lunch. Can we eat something better? The eastern side, along with Zhang Hao and Xie Jing, entered the office building of the management committee. The large conference room was once again packed with people. A young man in formal attire walked up to the podium, lightly tapped the microphone to confirm the equipment was working properly. Good afternoon, distinguished guests and CEOs. Welcome to the auction site for the 6th plot of land in the park. Listening to the host's detailed introduction of the plot's location and facilities, the eastern side weighed the bidding paddle number 66 in his hand. Hey, not bad. The plot he intended to bid on is located on the west side of the park. With relatively complete infrastructure, water, electricity, and road access have been established, and initial site leveling has been completed, covering an overall area of about 70 acres. Thus, after the management committee posted the auction information on their official website, many people signed up to participate in this auction. All right, I believe everyone is now familiar with the details. If there are any questions, please refer to the promotional materials provided by the staff upon entry. We will officially begin the auction now, with the starting price for Plot 6 set at 50 million yuan, with each bid increase not less than 100,000. Please place your bids. Okay, number 30 bids 51 million. Number 21, a lady, bids 55 million. The price soared all the way up to 70 million. Mr. 66 has quoted 75 million, while Mr. 42 has offered 80 million. Is there anyone else willing to bid? The venue fell silent for a moment, as this price had already exceeded expectations. So, 80 million for the first time. Mr. 66 raised his bid again to 85 million. No one else followed suit. And with that high price, the rights to use the land were secured by Dongfang for a total of 40 years. The meeting room of the company convened once again. Dongfang sat in the center, announcing the company's significant plans for the near future. Let me outline our work plan for the next phase. We've successfully acquired the land. Yuan, you'll be responsible for following up with the design company to develop the design plan as soon as possible and start construction. Xie Jing, I plan to establish a materials research laboratory first, and you'll be in charge of procuring the equipment. Zhang Hao, the Internet of Things initiative is on track. So continue to deepen the project and expand the scope quickly. Li Chong and Tian, prepare for the next round of recruitment. It's time to scale up. Does anyone have any comments? Fanger, do we have a plan for the factory construction? Should we prioritize the production of Bluetooth speakers? Yuan, we still lack experience. I've been thinking about it for the past few days. Are all those phone companies building their own production lines? Indeed, it's surprising that there are so many outsourcing companies. Gao Yuan immediately caught on. We still lack experience. We're still quite inexperienced in the market. The meeting concluded quickly, with the direction set, leaving only execution ahead. The company operated efficiently. The sounds of heavy machinery echoed from the vacant lot, with bulldozers and loaders constantly working the site. As the machines moved, the previously uneven land became smooth. Surrounding them, many construction workers were building walls, and behind them, a long boundary wall had already risen. In the northwest corner of the plot, a 5-story building was springing up. Several workers were hanging stones on the outer walls. The internal roads of the factory were already constructed, with vehicles transporting materials and debris shuttling back and forth. It was a bustling scene. A month had passed since the auction. Dongfang, wearing a hard hat, stood on the sidelines looking out, flanked by the tan men Gao Yuan and Li Chong. Fanger, You see, the materials laboratory is nearly complete, with stone cladding being installed. However, while we have procured some of the necessary domestic instruments, there are still some pieces of equipment that we cannot produce domestically. Can't we import them? Dongfang turned and asked. Some can be imported, but for others, foreign companies have imposed various restrictions, making it difficult to use them on time. What are those? Dongfang furrowed his brow. Ultra-pure water equipment, ultra-high-performance liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry, high-performance liquid chromatography, and field emission scanning electron microscopes. Dongfang remained silent, as he was in contact with Nova in his mind. You don't need to worry at all, sir. I will arrange for the automated factory to produce them, and they will be delivered by tomorrow evening at the latest. Chapter 39 Deep Blue Operating System. The three of them returned to the office and took off their safety helmets. It was too hot. If this continues, I might end up getting as tanned as someone from Southern Africa. Gao Yuan flopped down on the office sofa. Dongfang nodded in agreement, tilting his head back and finishing the tea that had been left on the table. There's no need to worry about the equipment. Just procure domestic products, and I'll handle the rest. All right. Gao Yuan squirmed on the sofa like a worm. The exterior wall decoration will be done in a few days. Once the interior decoration is completed, I'll let the equipment in. After arranging everything, Dongfang returned to the development work on the operating system. Suddenly, he remembered something and picked up the phone to make a call. Zhang Hao, how's Zhu Jiangwo doing lately? You remember the bald young man, right? Boss, you're amazing. Zhu Jiangwo is quite talented. After learning a new programming language, he has been unstoppable. His contributions to our recent breakthrough are indispensable. Zhang Hao, the lively character, was still as he used to be. Oh, is that so? Have him come to my office. I want to talk to him. Understood, boss. Should I come too? You just focus on your work. A half-shiny, half-thinning head poked in from outside the door. Boss, you called for me. Zhang Hao has already taken the team out. It was Zhu Jiangwo. It's me. Come in. Dongfang stood up and personally poured a cup of tea for Zhu Jiangwo. Zhu Jiangwo sat on the sofa, squirming as if the leather sofa had nails sticking out of it. Indeed, pure tech enthusiasts are quite adorable, aside from their beloved technology. They behave like children in other aspects. Boss, what can I do for you? Zhu Jiangwo was straightforward. Didn't I tell you before that we couldn't work on the operating system yet? What is up? Boss, are we starting now? I'm fully prepared. Not exactly. Everyone is quite busy, and I want to think about it myself first, Dongfang replied cautiously. Boss, I see what you're getting at. Zhu Jiangwo seemed to have relaxed. He casually picked up the teacup and took a couple of sips, then spat out some tea leaves with a few. Wasn't the project development successful recently? I thought I'd give it a try using the new language. You wouldn't believe it, it's perfect. For the kernel part, I already have a version. This is no longer the nervous bookworm from earlier. That's great. I've just finished writing the kernel too. Let's exchange and learn from each other. By the way, Zhu, you don't need to stay with the group anymore. Let us form our own team and just focus on the operating system. Hey, great. I've been looking forward to this day. Zhu Jiangwo copied the operating system kernel program from Dongfang's notebook and left his own behind. He dashed out of the door, heading back to his workstation. Dongfang opened Zhu Jiangwo's program and started reading line by line. So this is how it can be executed? Much more intuitive. Before long, he fell into deep thought. He picked up a notebook nearby and started jotting down something, then frowned as if he encountered a difficult problem. Directly calling the function is all that's needed. Why go around in such a big circle and waste resources? Once again, something was discovered, and the individual started talking to themselves. After figuring out a problem, they were quite pleased. If a stranger walked in, they might think this handsome young man is a bit eccentric. A similar scene was happening at Zhu Jiangwo's workstation. Developer A, what's wrong with Zhu again? Developer B, he acted like this last time when solving a core issue. Why make a big deal out of it? A, but it wasn't to this extent. B, just focus on your work. Are you complaining that you're finishing too quickly? Also, you know our boss is building a new factory. Have they considered giving us a residential area? People from our nation are like this. No matter where they are, they hope to have their own place. Sigh. I heard from Yuan that it seems to be in the works, but we don't really know. The conversation between the two didn't affect Zhu Jiangwo. He was completely absorbed in Dongfang's elegant and concise code. He kept nodding and furrowing his brow, seemingly encountering statements he couldn't understand. Hours passed, and Zhu Jiangwo felt as if he had just blinked. Fortunately, he managed to get through the code. He opened the kernel he wrote and looked at the lines of code, suddenly feeling unable to continue. Compared to the boss's, mine seems so inferior. Forget it. I'll just ask the boss directly. Without another word, he headed straight for Dongfang's office. Dongfang was modifying the kernel. After all, he had vast knowledge but lacked practical experience. By reviewing Zhu Jiangwo's code, he learned a lot. Aware of his shortcomings, he quickly revised his version 10. Just then, Zhu Jiangwo walked in. Boss, I have a question. He was still as straightforward as ever. Why is your function call so simple, and why is it so different from mine? Haha, Zhu. It seems your way of thinking hasn't shifted yet. I've mentioned many times when discussing the language, just think in your native way. Look here. Dongfang typed out lines of code on the computer, explaining and demonstrating at the same time. Zhu Jiangwo nodded like a little chick pecking at rice. It was a very rewarding day, referring to both Dongfang and Zhu Jiangwo. In the following month, the two of them, mainly Dongfang with Zhu Jiangwo's assistance, completed the development of the 10 Deep Blue operating system. Although the user interface was a bit unfriendly, just draw a box and write 2 characters, computer. Oh wait, no? 3 characters. Never mind. It conveys the idea. There are also circles and pentagrams. As long as they are distinguishable, that's what matters. Boss, have we succeeded? Zhu Jiangwo couldn't quite believe it. He had been looking forward to this for so many years. Although there were many domestic operating systems online, they were all based on Linux, while Dongfang and Zhu Jiangwo's version was an entirely different concept. Whether it was successful or not had to be tested. Had it been compatible with our games? Dongfang picked up a USB drive and quickly double-clicked the installation package. The familiar cutscene animations and cool combat effects appeared. The popular game Journey to the West is currently a huge hit in a certain country, developed by a gaming company. The gameplay is incredibly smooth. And although the computers provided by the Eastern team are top-notch, it still wouldn't reach this level under the W operating system. It's a perfect success. The Deep Blue operating system is about to be launched. Zhu Jiangwo was so excited that he hugged Dongfang tightly, ready to playfully bite his face. Seeing the situation getting out of hand, Dongfang quickly pressed a hand over Zhu Jiangwo's mouth and pushed him away. A muffled sound emerged, and Zhu Jiangwo was pushed to the side, looking very aggrieved. Haha, Dongfang couldn't help but laugh. Chapter 40. Award Ceremony. Although the operating system has been successfully developed, there are still no users because the product range of the company is too broad. One moment it's a mobile app, the next it's a game. And then there's an operating system. Who would recognize you? Who would dare to endorse you? Thus, Dongfang encountered another dilemma. The enthusiasm during development faded once the project was completed, and these issues surfaced. Sitting at his desk, Dongfang rubbed his temples in frustration. He realized he couldn't be so reckless next time. He needed a plan, at least to conduct market research. Without clients, he couldn't proceed or might need to delay the launch. He quietly set a goal for himself and noted it in the front page of his notebook for easy reference. The familiar ringtone sounded. Fanger, what are you up to? I have good news today. You must treat. Zhao Jinyu's teasing voice came through. But, brother you haven't told me what the matter is. It's impossible to set a standard without knowing. Dongfang replied, playfully engaging with Zhao Jinyu. Haha, let us just set it at the Zijin Hotel, noon at 12. Just 2 dishes and a bowl of rice. How's that for a standard? No problem. Is that standard too low? 4 dishes and a soup, a simple working meal. No need for anything fancy. At noon, Dongfang arrived punctually at the entrance of the hotel. Zhao Jinyu was quite punctual as well. As soon as Dongfang steadied himself, he stepped out of the Volkswagen that had just pulled over. Dongfang naturally wouldn't delay and moved forward to greet him. At that moment, another person got out of the car parked on the roadside. The man referred to as Xiao Su was still impeccably dressed in a tailored suit. Not a wrinkle in sight despite having traveled by car. Dongfang speculated that this might indeed be good news. Without overthinking, he quickly walked a few steps to the car front and extended his hand. Brother Su. Hello, it's good to see you again. Hello. The two walked side by side towards the hotel, with Xiao Su remaining quite reserved. It was indeed their second meeting. Fortunately, Zhao Jinyu was there to lighten the mood, and the three entered the reserved private room, chatting and laughing. Once the dishes were served, Dongfang could no longer contain his curiosity. Brother, what's the news today? You need to give me a hint. Zhao Jinyu laughed and didn't respond immediately. No rush, no rush. Today Estar is still Xiao Su. Look at how your brother has become just a guest for you. You owe me. So today you must order 2 plates of braised pork. Sure, no problem. Dongfang gave up on pressing for answers, knowing he would find out soon enough. Fanger, why haven't I seen you trending recently? Zhao Jinyu was enjoying his favorite braised pork while joking. Brother, to be honest, I'd love to launch a big satellite, but our fame isn't enough. And I'm afraid no one would recognize it. He was eating with grease all over his mouth, clearly relishing the dish. Recently, I developed a new operating system, and Xiao Su finally spoke up. What is the difference from the current mainstream operating systems? Completely different. This is based on our newly developed D language. Revamped from the ground up, from the core kernel to the drivers, and then to the supporting libraries and peripherals, it's 100% domestically produced. Do you have any product introductions related to hardware? Xiao Su quickly asked. Yes, brother, take a look, he said, handing over his phone. Xiao Su took it, snapped a photo with his own phone, and then returned it. Don't use that brand anymore. Switch to something else. Xiao Su said with a hint of meaning before changing the subject, not delving deeper into the operating system discussion. Naturally, Dongfang had no way to continue. Since they hadn't had any drinks, the meal ended quickly. They walked to the resting area, where he carefully took out a box from his black handbag. Stand at attention, Comrade Dongfang. This is my main task for today. Dongfang immediately stood up in front of Xiaosu, who had never been introduced by name. Comrade Dongfang, on behalf of the National Military Commission's Strategic Support Force, I'm here to award you the National Outstanding Contribution Medal, but due to confidentiality reasons, we cannot announce this to the public, so please understand. The country will never forget contributors like you. After saying this, he took out a medal from a small wooden box he was holding and pinned it to Dongfang's chest. They took a photo, and then he put the medal back into the box. The award ceremony is complete. Dongfang was so excited he didn't know what to say. I will definitely make greater contributions to the country. Thank you, Brother Su. We should be the ones thanking you. When the day comes that this can be made public, I believe the whole country will recognize you. My task is complete, so I'll take my leave now. I believe it won't be long before we meet again. Xiaosu's words seemed to carry deeper meaning. Dongfang stood at the hotel entrance, watching the two of them leave in a vehicle. His emotions were stirred for a long time. He too had made a special contribution. Although he couldn't share it with anyone, it was such a huge honor. The overwhelming news left Dongfang feeling dizzy. Even after returning to the company, he couldn't stop smiling. Boss, do you have any good news to share with us? Zhang Hao, the sycophant, was quick to notice. Forget about that. Just get back to work. If I could talk about it, I'd throw this medal in your face like tomato sauce. Your Excellency, the equipment you need has been ready for some time. Can we transport it now? Nova's voice came through. The laboratory had long been established, but Dongfang had been so focused on the operating system that he completely forgot about it. If Nova hadn't reminded him again, he might not have remembered it all. After confirming the transportation time for that evening, Dongfang walked into the high office. Brother Yuan, let the construction workers have a night off and clear out the construction site. Their wages will be paid as usual. I'm in a good mood today, so it's up to you as the boss. I'll notify the construction company right away. He replied. By the way, what's making you so happy? Share it with me. Dongfang couldn't possibly say anything and just made up a casual excuse to brush it off. Standing quietly in front of the laboratory building, Dongfang suddenly saw a flash of blue light, and a transport ship abruptly appeared in the open space in front of the laboratory. It was a rather oddly shaped spacecraft. Narrow at the front and wide at the back, with a big belly, completely different from the sleek vehicles of the Blue Planet. It had no aerodynamic design, solely designed to transport as many supplies as possible. Then, a beam of light shot from the top of the ship, forming a larger light shield that enveloped the entire laboratory building, including the air in front of it. The laboratory flickered, and then both the transport ship and Dongfang disappeared, leaving only the laboratory standing there. Inside the light shield, Dongfang saw the huge hatch at the rear of the transport ship finally open, creating a sloped surface. Various types of equipment flowed out like a river, being moved into the laboratory and placed in the planned positions. The materials lab was fully equipped. Chapter 41. First tentative cooperation. After a busy night, various instruments and equipment were neatly organized in the laboratory. Everything Dongfang needed that couldn't be bought was provided all at once. Nodding in satisfaction, Dongfang locked the laboratory door and turned back to the company. Although Dongfang's physique was extremely robust, the biological clock he had developed over the years still made him a bit drowsy. But before he could lie down on the bed, a hurried phone call rang. Comrade Dongfang. Hello, I'm Su Lei, the one who came with Brother Jinyu, said the somewhat mysterious young man, introducing himself for the first time. Brother Su, I can tell you have something to discuss? Dongfang asked, somewhat puzzled. Comrade Dongfang, we are very interested in the operating system you developed. Relevant personnel will arrive at the company this afternoon. Please be prepared. Dongfang's sleepiness immediately vanished. Brother Su, are you coming? I have another task this time, so I can't make it. Colleagues will come. They are more professional than I am. After hanging up, Dongfang immediately turned on the desktop computer used for testing the Deep Blue operating system. A stunning interface popped up, and compared to the first version with Dongfang and Zhu Jianjun's box and circle, it was like night and day. I must praise the Xiaoyu studio. Their graphic design is incredible. In just a few days, all the graphics were completed, featuring traditional Chinese aesthetics, futuristic punk styles, and tech-filled fantasy designs. In short, they had everything that was currently mainstream. After confirming everything was fine, Dongfang finally felt relieved because Su Lei had said they were all experts. Zhu Jianjun entered the room. Boss, who is coming later? How would I know? Just be ready. The young man now seems completely unaware of being impolite. Two individuals sat together and conducted the final adjustments until everything was flawless. At 2 in the afternoon, a black business vehicle stopped at the entrance of the company. 5 individuals stepped out one after another, all dressed in neat black suits and white shirts, identical to the attire of Su Lei. It goes without saying that these people were definitely from the same organization as Su Lei. They were led into the office by the receptionist and sat neatly in a row. If Dongfang still couldn't react to such an obvious style, it would be quite foolish. Hello, I'm Dongfang. Please have some tea. However, having never dealt with people from these special units before, he prioritized formalities. No need to be polite, Mr. Dongfang. I am here on the orders of my superiors to inspect your newly developed operating system, Deep Blue. By the way, my surname is Luo, and my given name is Mao. Is our operating system pre-installed on that computer? One person, wearing glasses, responded, no problem. The meeting room is all set up. So please follow us. Dongfang gestured, and Zhu Jianjun eagerly led the way. In the small meeting room, 2 rows of computers were placed on the conference table, resembling soldiers awaiting inspection. The newcomers wasted no time and took a seat at each computer, beginning their work. May I ask, Mr. Dongfang, if you could provide us with the source code for the operating system? Luo Mao inquired. Of course, Dongfang naturally nodded in agreement. The 5 individuals collaborated and began the lengthy process of reading the code. Bored, Dongfang, encouraged by the 3 creatures in his dormitory, opened a game. The result was, of course, spectacular, achieving a 5-star rating. 2 hours quickly passed. The group conducted an extensive evaluation of the operating system and, combined with the source code, reached a final conclusion. Director, it can completely replace the 2 major operating systems of a certain country, and there are no concerns about backdoors. One person reported quietly to Luo Mao. However, Dongfang, with keen ears, overheard it. Can we be completely certain? Luo Mao asked, a bit uneasy. Director, this is a brand new programming language, and it's remarkably easy to read. How should I put it? It's like reading a language textbook. Therefore, our opinions are unanimous. At this point, a short-haired woman spoke up. Director, we are quite certain. I suggest we include the new programming language in this cooperation scope and promote it throughout the company. Since both of you are certain, then I'm relieved. After a brief discussion among the group, Luo Mao took the lead in speaking. Mr. Dongfang, could you please ask your staff to step out? I need to report to my superiors. Not a problem. This seemed to be the most frequently said phrase by Dongfang today. After Dongfang and the others exited the meeting room, Luo Mao took out a large mobile phone from his bag. Secretary, I am reporting relevant information to you. Our opinion is that we can deepen cooperation. Then let's proceed according to the established plan. The conversation was straightforward and concluded quickly. Dongfang, who thought there would be a long wait, was invited back into the meeting room in the blink of an eye. Mr. Dong, we are very satisfied with your company's Deep Blue operating system and hope to engage in deeper cooperation. I wholeheartedly agree. Haha, Mr. Luo, what are your company's terms? That's exactly what I wanted to discuss. We hope to fully acquire your operating system. Acquire. Don't worry, it's not a traditional acquisition. In other words, for version 10 of the Deep Blue operating system, we will prohibit its circulation in the civilian market, while future versions with restricted backend access can still be released by your company. Oh, I see. Mr. Dong is starting to understand. Exactly. We will procure at market price, paying your company 79 yuan for each computer installed. Of course, the quantity will be provided by us. Can you accept that? Mr. Luo smiled at Dong. A test. Definitely a test. Dong gritted his teeth and agreed. Haha, don't worry. The state won't let you suffer. It will be a pleasant cooperation. By the way, we are also very interested in the programming language you use. Could you send a technician to guide us? Sure, I'll have Zhang Hao come to train you. And there will be no charge for this. Since we have reached a cooperation intention, Dong naturally relaxed. Brother Luo, do you think 1 month is enough? That's enough. Mr. Luo and his team were indeed efficient. After finalizing the cooperation, they took out the pre-prepared contract, signed it, and left. Dong provided the complete set of materials for the Deep Blue operating system and received the first batch of usage fees, which amounted to 500 million yuan. The remaining 9 billion yuan will be paid immediately after all installations are completed, as they are procuring a total of 10 million sets. Chapter 42, Xiao Nua Speaker Dong's funds became abundant again, with the account balance nearing 800 million. Yuan, come to my office if you're free, Dong called Gao Yuan. Shortly after, Gao Yuan knocked and entered. What's up, Fong? I'm busy with the construction site. We have received a significant amount of funds again, and I want to immediately start the second phase of construction after the first phase, Dong explained. That is, to start the construction of the production plant. We only have the speaker as a physical product. Should we build the production line for the speaker first? That can be arranged. Dong suddenly realized he was repeating past mistakes by acting on impulse. Yuan, you're right. We only have one physical product, so let us not build the plant yet. Let us tentatively plan the second phase project as a residential community. Haha, that sounds good. The brothers have been talking about it. At that moment, Gao Yuan's phone rang and then abruptly stopped. This lousy battery can't hold out. Fong, I understand what you mean. I'll get the design company to work on the plan right away. I'll let the brothers have some fun. I'll take my leave for now. Gao Yuan had indeed been busy, running back and forth between construction sites, overseeing research and development, and ensuring building quality, feeling like he could split himself in two. Batteries. Batteries. A spark of inspiration flashed in Dong's mind. In today's world, information and energy are paramount. Whoever masters these 2 essential factors can command the world. Dongfang called out to Gao Yuan. Yuan, go. asked Zhang Chong to conduct a market research on batteries. Fonger, why are you thinking about batteries again? Gao Yuan was somewhat bewildered by Dongfang's far-fetched idea. Do we have the relevant technical reserves? We can still catch up with the reserves. It's never too late for energy. Besides, we're just doing research first. That doesn't mean we have to enter the market. All right, you are the boss. It's up to you. After saying that, he left without looking back. Not even 10 minutes later, Gao Yuan ran back to Dongfang's office. Fonger, I forgot to tell you something important. The OEM factory completed the sample production of the speakers yesterday. I've been too busy these past few days to mention it. He placed a box on Dongfang's desk and then ran off. Ignoring Gao Yuan's departure, Dongfang opened the box. Inside were 6 brown boxes, the color of the cardboard, each about 15 centimeters wide and 30 centimeters long. The white packaging had a simple print that read Xiao Nua Bluetooth speaker, produced by D Huan Technology Company. The back had some parameters of the speaker. Although simple, it showed attention to detail. Upon opening the packaging, the first thing he saw was the main body of the speaker with a transparent shell, easily held in one hand. The top and bottom were encircled by a milky white plastic frame. The remaining 5 were similar, except for the different colors of the plastic frames. Connecting to the network, a familiar voice from Xiao Nua sounded. Hello, Master. I am your intelligent assistant. Xiao Nua, play a song. Beautiful music immediately echoed in Dongfang's office. Although the sound quality was slightly inferior compared to big-name speakers, the cost was significantly lower, with a price difference of more than 10 times. Dongfang decided to hold a unique launch event. Half a month later, on May 6th in the lunar calendar, at 2:30 p.m., in the administrative department of D Huan Company. It was empty, with no one on duty, even though it was working hours. However, personnel from other departments were busy at their computers. It turned out that today was the launch date for the Xiao Nua speaker. In the park's auditorium, Gao Yuan was sitting in a makeup chair, letting the makeup artist apply makeup on his face. However, beads of sweat kept dripping down, making the makeup artist frantic. Forget it, let us leave it like this. We're selling products, not me, Gao Yuan. Looking at his sweat-drenched face, Gao Yuan stood up and wiped off the makeup. Dongfang silently stood by, inwardly sighing. What a wise choice. The host of the launch event should indeed be the general manager. Time passed quickly, and the clock's hands steadily pointed to 3:00 p.m. Gao Yuan stepped onto the stage. Good afternoon to all the friends and media reporters present. I am Gao Yuan, the general manager of D Huan Company. After nearly half a year of development, D Huan Company has achieved some success in the industry. And with the great sales of Journey to the West, more people have come to appreciate the unique products of this company. As a result, the launch event was indeed attended by many people, including some well-known media representatives. For the first time speaking in front of so many people, Gao Yuan stumbled a bit. But he finally finished introducing some parameters of the smart speaker. Next, I will present to everyone. 7 smart speakers were brought to Gao Yuan's side by the staff. Xiao Nua, please sing a song from Castle in the Sky in a cappella with the speaker next to you. As you wish, Master. The lights gradually dimmed as Gao Yuan stepped into the darkness, leaving 6 speakers in the center of the stage. Soon, a choir of voices began to sing. The event venue fell silent, seemingly lost in the music, as if everyone was mesmerized. In the online live stream of the company, the comments were flashing rapidly. Is this real? Wow. Son, why are you kneeling to watch your phone? Because this company is amazing. Mom, come kneel with me. Of course, there were also some trolls making unfriendly comments. It's clearly pre-recorded. Each speaker plays a segment. Don't be fooled, you fools. The company automatically filtered these trolls. When the price was announced, it sparked another wave of discussion. Such an impressive smart speaker was priced at 239 yuan. Who wouldn't want to buy it? By the end of the event, the company received a total of 130,000 online orders. That night, the company held a celebration banquet, distributing bonuses and red envelopes. Zhang Hao, who was drunk, made a scene at the hotel. The boss is amazing, was his only phrase throughout the night. Thus, he earned his first nickname, Bai Gu, the silly Bai. Geng Yuan was a second-generation rich kid, not worried about food and clothing, with one hobby, collecting various speakers. After seeing a video clip of the company's launch event edited by netizens online, he was excited. Wow, there's such a cool operation. He decided he had to buy a set. Yes, a set of 6. As the saying goes, money can make the devil push the millstone. So, on the 3rd day after the event, he gathered a complete set. He connected the power and quickly completed the network setup. Xiao Nua, please sing Castle in the Sky in a cappella with the speakers around you. Okay, Master. Geng Yuan was thrilled. This sound was amazing, especially with 6 voices. Chapter 43. Assassination. Just like Gao Yuan demonstrated at the launch, Geng Yuan tried many classic a cappella songs. Not only Chinese songs, but also foreign songs. And Xiao Nua could sing them perfectly. Geng Yuan recorded a video. As a moderately sized blogger, he had quite a few followers. Once the video was published, It immediately caused a sensation. Gung Yuan gained 300,000 followers in just 3 weeks. People rushed to buy, as if owning a Xiao Nua speaker meant being trendy. The result was that the company once again trended online. The headlines were diverse and creative, such as, "Super smart speaker captures consumer favor, Xiao Nua, worth having." And 6 speakers can actually sing a cappella. Can you believe it? Even the speakers seemed to have souls, singing a cappella together. The audience was widely engaged. Wow. Do we need to order more? 100,000 units? Can we sell that many? Gao Yuan was immersed in the troubles of happiness. How's the research I asked you to do going? The focus of the East isn't even on the audio equipment. I'm still working on it. I estimate it will be ready by next week. All right, then I'll place another order for 1 million. Brother Yuan, we need to hire more people. There are still matters to settle in the lab. The East is quite concerned about this. Don't worry, the job postings have already been sent out, and the schedule is set for next month. By the time you take your summer break, we should have completed the initial screening. Haha, Brother Yuan. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten my main job. All right, you continue to follow up. I'll be back at school for exams tomorrow. Suddenly, Dongfang recalled a message from that sleazy guy, Zhang Wei, so he quickly ended the conversation. No longer that poor student, a company vehicle took Dongfang to the airport. 40 minutes later, the flight landed on time. A vehicle from the local office took him back to school. Just as he got out of the car, he happened to run into 3 dorm mates heading out to eat. "Fang, have you been taken care of by that ant? Isn't Alfred here to pick you up?" Zhang Wei teased, making a face. Hee, I also want one. Let me get a Yang Xiao and reveal my hidden side. Dongfang concluded these 2 were quite something. What are we going to eat? Just in time, I haven't eaten either. With Dongfang, the big spender, the 4 of them enjoyed a lavish dinner of barbecue, beer, and crayfish, the perfect companions for a summer night. Clearly remembering that exams would start tomorrow, the 3 friends returned to the dorm before 8 o'clock. Due to the exams, the 3 usually gaming enthusiasts surprisingly did not indulge in their favorite game, but sat at their desks, making an effort to study for the next day's tests, hoping for at least a point. Dongfang certainly didn't need to review anymore, but lying in bed alone might provoke the wrath of the 3, leading to a group beating. So he chose to watch some short videos at his desk, keeping the volume very low. Since it was a bit warm, the dorm windows were left open, allowing anyone outside to clearly see Dongfang watching videos by the window. That night, the weather was pleasant, with only a slight breeze in the air. Suddenly, Dongfang felt a sharp pain at his temples. A chill surged through his head. Something seemed off. Instinctively, he put down his phone and shook his head back and forth. The chill didn't dissipate, but instead moved slowly up his head with the motion. This was very wrong. Dongfang immediately realized he was in danger. His developed body was sending him a warning. He quickly squatted down, and indeed, the sensation vanished without a trace. Dongfang felt he was being watched. He could sense someone's gaze, but he wasn't sure if they were monitoring him or had other intentions. He reached out to close the window and draw the curtains. Testing the waters, Dongfang stood up, and sure enough, he felt nothing anymore. The thick curtains completely blocked the view. "Fang, what's wrong with you? It's such a hot day, why close the window?" The leader, Wang Ming, noticed something unusual. I think I might have a bit of a cold. I feel cold and my head hurts a little." He sneezed a few times for effect. "You should get some rest early. I'll bring you some hot water." I didn't expect that Wang Ming was quite attentive. Indeed, Dongfang no longer felt anything similar. He felt somewhat relieved, judging that it might have been the media trying to capture his daily life. So he didn't take it too seriously and attended the exam on time the next morning. The exam went smoothly and was relatively easy for Dongfang. He finished all the questions in just 20 minutes and took another 10 minutes to leave gracefully. 3 days later, Dongfang completed all the exams. If nothing unexpected happens, he is still likely to be first in his grade. Tomorrow, he plans to go to the driving school to complete the first and second tests. That night, Dongfang did not return to the dormitory but went to his newly purchased apartment to sleep. Since the distance between buildings is quite wide and he lives on the 19th floor, Dongfang did not close the curtains. At 9 in the evening, he completed the first round of training and began the second round. With his feet shoulder-width apart and in a half-squat position, he swayed slightly back and forth as if riding a horse. Once again, he felt a sharp pain at his temples, and during training, Dongfang felt more alert than usual. This time, the sensation was even stronger, and he vaguely sensed something was aimed directly at him. He immediately stopped the training, rolled on the ground, and heard a loud bang from the glass behind him. A small hole appeared in the floor-to-ceiling window. A bullet bounced several times off the ground and wall before landing with a clink on the floor of the exercise room. Seeing this, Dongfang quickly exited and locked the activity room door behind him. He dressed quickly and grabbed the special backpack Nova had prepared for him. Instead of taking the elevator, he ran downstairs in the direction he sensed earlier. After running about 200 meters, a wall blocked his path. Dongfang kicked off the wall, placed his hand on the top, and gently vaulted over. As soon as he landed, he pushed off with his right foot and surged forward. He was almost there. Just ahead was that building. Dongfang accelerated again, forcefully pulling apart the magnetic lock, and rushed up the stairs. In just 3 minutes, he reached the top floor. The door was open, and the room was empty. On the side facing Dongfang's exercise room, a black handbag was placed at the edge of the parapet. He unzipped the backpack, revealing a pile of disorganized parts haphazardly thrown inside, with a long leather case on top. A gun barrel protruded from the edge of the case. Someone had just left. Chapter 44, Capture Nova. Check the surveillance. Dongfang thought this was completely manageable. The footage showed that he did not use the elevator, but left via another staircase. You and he must have just missed each other. He was wearing black sportswear and a hat, making it hard to see his face. With short hair and a height of about 1.8 meters, he just exited the community. If you chase now, you can still catch up. Dongfang threw down the handbag he was holding and immediately rushed down the stairs. The vehicle sped out of the residential area, and at the corner of the wall, Dongfang spotted a figure wearing a hat, identical to the photo captured by Nova. He accelerated again, chasing after the person. As Dongfang reached the corner, the figure ahead seemed to sense someone approaching and began to run forward with long strides, glancing back over his shoulder. This time, Dongfang got a clear look. It was a face that combined features from both Eastern and Western cultures: high nose bridge, deep-set eyes, and a determined gaze, yet devoid of any panic. Dongfang's residence was surrounded by numerous apartment complexes, resulting in walls of varying heights lining both sides of the road. Branches extended over the walls, their random growth fracturing the light from the street lamps. The man running ahead flickered in and out of visibility, moving at an incredible speed. Unfortunately for him, he encountered Dongfang, a superhuman presence. In just 15 seconds, Dongfang closed the distance, leaping into the air and delivering a powerful kick. The man rolled on the ground, narrowly avoiding Dongfang's lethal strike, and immediately charged forward again. He was a well-trained individual. His evasive maneuver was fluid, and Dongfang's attack did not slow him down. However, a metal platform came crashing down on his head. It turned out that a bionic robot was in position. A lift quickly descended and struck him hard on the head before he could react. Dongfang successfully captured the man. An hour later, Dongfang found himself in the interrogation room of a secret underwater base. A blinding white light was shining on the face of the man, now hatless and secured in a special chair. "What is your name?" "I asked for your name." The man in black raised his head, instinctively trying to avoid the harsh light, but he remained silent. The bionic robot stepped forward, grabbing his arms and pulling them straight, then began to rain mechanical punches down on his body. 5 minutes passed, and the man still did not speak. Only groans of pain echoed in the interrogation room. Dongfang realized this approach was futile. A man trained for such situations would not easily divulge information. The numerous scars on his body indicated that physical torment was not an effective method. "Nova, prepare to inject the truth serum." "Sir, it has been ready for a while and can be administered at any time." A metal arm extended from the back of the special chair, holding a syringe. 10 minutes after the injection was completed, Dongfang spoke again. "Your name?" "Max. All right. Just give a full account of the situation." Seeing that the truth serum was taking effect, Dongfang lost interest in further questioning. "My name is Max." The man in black seemed to struggle a bit, but under the influence of the drug, he quickly divulged everything. "I am 21 years old, an agent secretly trained by the military of a certain country. In my cover identity in another country. I am an international student at a prestigious university, currently in my 3rd year. A few days ago, I received orders from my superiors to kill Dongfang. Subsequently, Dongfang returned to school, while I had received a briefcase in advance. Inside was a sniper rifle. A couple of days ago, I found Dongfang sitting by the window and was ready to take him out. However, for some unknown reason, he closed the window and drew the curtains, resulting in a failed assassination. Today, after receiving information about his residence, I plotted a second assassination attempt, but unfortunately, it still didn't succeed. Everything became clear. Dongfang's instincts were right. Someone indeed wanted to silence him. "Which department do you belong to?" "I am an operative from a certain agency, and it is said that this mission was requested by a corporation and specially approved by my agency. Otherwise, I wouldn't have exposed myself." Dongfang couldn't extract more information, but with what he had, he understood that his recent actions had made him a target for certain individuals. It seemed that the previous fireworks display hadn't been grand enough. These people still had the energy to concern themselves with others. Dongfang silently cursed a few times in his heart. After locking Max in the underwater base's prison, he returned to his newly purchased mansion. The danger had been lifted, and there were still bits and pieces to tidy up at home, though the sniper rifle had already been retrieved. While sweeping up the scattered glass, Dongfang communicated with Nova. "Sir, it seems that merely having 3 shuttles for protection is still not safe enough. I plan to deploy bionic robots for your close protection, but this requires your consent. After all, I need to cover the robots with synthetic skin and prepare a full set of identity documents." Dongfang had previously disliked being followed 24/7, even by robots. However, after experiencing this assassination attempt, his mindset shifted. As the company's business continued to expand, more and more information was being exposed. He was no longer the invisible person he once was. Similar incidents could happen at any time in the future. So he compromised. I approve your request. But 2 bionic robots will suffice. As you wish, Captain. The bionic robots will be delivered before you leave tomorrow morning. Nova disappeared from sight. Dongfang had no mood to tidy up the gym anymore and went to bed in his bedroom. The next day, at 9 a.m., as he drove past the driving school, Dongfang stepped out of a large domestic SUV. This morning, as soon as he stepped out, 2 ordinary-looking men in black suits and sunglasses were standing at the door. They also brought 2 cars. One was the domestic SUV he was currently in, and the other looked identical to the one he drove during the race underwater. Without a driver's license, Dongfang obviously couldn't drive himself. Therefore, the 2 men accompanied him to the driving school. It was the day for his first theory test. Dongfang quickly went upstairs, and after a series of checks, he successfully sat down at the computer. The exam started on time and ended quickly. Well, you can imagine, for Dongfang, cultural studies were a piece of cake. 100 points. He passed smoothly. Finally, he had sorted out the recent events. There is no need to stay in XA. Accompanied by 2 strong men, Dongfang embarked on the highway back to the Earthring Company. There were still many tasks awaiting him. The job fair was about to begin. Chapter 45, Recruiting Recently. A joke has been circulating in various universities, specifically within the materials departments. A certain technology company was looking to recruit talents in materials science. By the way, this company is called Earthring Technology Company, Limited. Its fame stems from a particular job advertisement. Wang Chun, a top student from the materials department at Tsinghua University, was reading it with great interest. Extra, extra. The strongest intelligent software company in the Blue Star is recruiting. We are a technology company located in AS County, Mountain Province. We have developed a series of popular products, including intelligent assistant software, a smart speaker, and many others. Each product has been well received, and while we are honored, the pressure is immense. Thus, our wise boss has decided to establish a materials laboratory to produce even better products for the public. We look forward to your joining. The compensation is generous. Wang Chun laughed until his stomach hurt. A small company had developed 3 products across 3 fields, although the Bluetooth speaker relied on the assistant. What did that have to do with materials science? As he continued to laugh, he found it hard to keep smiling. It seemed that all 3 products had achieved industry leadership, unreplaceable industry leaders. So, the job advertisement was no joke. Starting from scratch? That was exactly what he liked. Wang Chun made up his mind, packed his bags, and prepared to check it out in person. Many others also found the situation unusual. They all coincidentally boarded trains heading to Mountain Province. Dongfang had been back at the company for a few days, carefully reading the industry survey report brought by Gao Yuan. The current status and analysis of the new battery industry in Huaguo. With the rapid development of the electronic information product manufacturing industry globally, the new battery industry, which aligns with the miniaturization and portability of electronic products, has gained unprecedented opportunities for development. As an important component of the new energy sector, the new battery industry has become a new hotspot for global economic development. The industrial chain of the new battery sector is becoming increasingly complete, its connotation further enriched. The trend of industrial transfer is reasonable, and the momentum of industrial development is strong. This means that the industry I chose is sound, but limited by technology. Lithium batteries are still the mainstream. Therefore, I need to achieve breakthroughs in battery technology as soon as possible. Dongfang set a clear direction for himself. Gathering his thoughts, it was almost time for the job fair. This time, Dongfang decided to hold the event in the already usable materials laboratory. It is said that there is no name that can be miscalled, only nicknames that can be misnamed. The reputation of the infrastructure builder is well-deserved. The roads within the park have all been completed, and the office building has reached 16 stories and is about to be topped off. Meanwhile, the residential community promised by Dongfang is under construction, with over 10 small villas already built nearby. Although it was a bustling construction site, effective dust control measures ensured that there was no dust flying around. One can't help but admire the strength of the nation. These are things we can see in our daily lives, so there's no need to doubt. By the time they reached the bottom of the laboratory building, several eager applicants were already waiting in front of the building. Dongfang and Gao Yuan sat down together in the conference room. The interview officially began. Initially, Dongfang didn't have high hopes. He planned to handle things himself if there weren't any good candidates, with the option to supplement the team later. However, the quality of the applicants turned out to be exceptionally high. It was a pleasant surprise. Wang Chun was the 10th person to enter the conference room. After entering, he gave a brief self-introduction. What do you think are the challenges in mass-producing graphene materials in factories? Dongfang posed the first question. Wang Chun responded. I believe it can be summarized as one main challenge, which is that the preparation of high-quality monolayer graphene is limited by the size of the CVD chamber, as well as the product's wrinkles. Dongfang recognized another promising candidate. He had a broad perspective and a knowledge base that extended beyond textbooks, demonstrating the ability to self-learn cutting-edge industry knowledge. No other applicants impressed him as much afterward. In the end, 6 researchers were hired. Some may wonder why Dongfang only recruited inexperienced university students. It's because university students have only completed basic studies in a specific discipline, making them a blank slate to Dongfang. They can be easily guided and shaped. Thus, experienced researchers with rigid thinking were not considered. The company quickly sent out acceptance notifications. The 6 vibrant young individuals returned to the laboratory the next day, following Dongfang as they toured the newly established lab. On the second floor was the Metal Materials Laboratory, equipped with all necessary experimental devices. Wang Chun compared it with his school's lab in his mind. The school couldn't compete. The third floor housed the Organic-Inorganic Composite Materials Lab. The fourth floor was the Luminescent Materials Lab, and the fifth floor was the Crystal Materials Lab. Wang Chun felt numb. Such a small company could be so impressive. Who else could compare? What about the remaining floor? Dongfang had set this up as a rest area, with the conference room, bedrooms, and dining room all located here. Dongfang understood these people's personalities. Once they fully immersed themselves in research work, they might not even recognize their own parents. After the tour, the newcomers felt more settled. The astonishing instruments and equipment, along with a monthly salary of 20,000, and most importantly, the employee welfare housing under construction. Although the location was somewhat remote, it was certain that no employee would refuse to have an extra home in the park. The 7 of them sat down in the conference room. It was a round conference table, intentionally set up by Dongfang to signify equality in the face of science, with no distinctions of status. Everyone has already had a preliminary understanding of each other, so I want to introduce myself further. I'll announce the first matter. Wang Chun will be responsible for the Inorganic Materials Laboratory on the 3rd floor, and you will all join his team. No one expressed any opinions. After all, Wang Chun is the most academically accomplished among them. The second matter is that starting today, we will enter the laboratory preparation and mass production research of high-quality monolayer graphene. After announcing these 2 matters, Dongfang threw out a stack of materials and turned to leave. He wanted to test these so-called top students. A few of them exchanged glances, unsure of what to do. Is the boss really that laid back? Is he just going to be hands-off? With just a few novices like us, can we really achieve results? In the end, they all focused their gaze on Wang Chun. Hey, why are you looking at me? Wang Chun suddenly realized that he was the team leader. Feeling a bit awkward, he picked up the materials from the table, walked to the photocopier, and made 6 copies. Taking the opportunity to distribute the materials, Wang Chun found a way to ease his own tension. As expected from a graduate of a prestigious university, the sound of flipping papers echoed in the conference room. After a morning passed, no one spoke. Wang Chun scratched his head, wondering how to tackle this. Although he had done quite a few experiments under his teacher's guidance, it was his first time leading a project on his own. Even though the boss provided the materials, understanding them was one thing. Figuring out how to operate was another challenge altogether. Forget it, I'll just give it a try. With a determined mindset, Wang Chun relaxed his worries and called a few people to go for lunch. He was preparing to officially start work in the afternoon. He took out the prefabricated metal foil and, according to the preparation procedure, activated the tube furnace, microwave plasma CVD equipment, and RF chemical vapor deposition equipment. That's right. They planned to use the old vapor deposition method to prepare high-purity graphene films. Unfortunately, it was their first operation, and they were unsuccessful. Over the next few days, they encountered various problems. The films were either too small, severely wrinkled, or had impurities. In short, they hadn't even taken the first step before they all failed. With no clue, Wang Chun reported the situation to Dongfang and requested assistance. To be honest, Dongfang had been waiting for a few days. He initially thought they would ask for help within 3 days at most. He didn't expect this group of researchers to be so resilient. Dragging it out for 5 days, the 7 of them sat around the conference table again. Boss, we owe it to this salary. We've worked for several days and Haven T even managed to prepare a complete monocrystalline graphene. Wang Chun and the others were already feeling a change in their mindset. From initially thinking they were the best in the world, they had turned into self-doubting individuals. Am I really a graduate from a prestigious university? Did I just waste my time in college? This attitude was what Dongfang wanted to see. Otherwise, as a boss of an internet company, who would listen to a group of top students if he spoke, he needed to keep them grounded. Dongfang reassured them a bit, but he couldn't just criticize them. Otherwise, if they were crushed, it would be a loss for him. Dressed in dust-proof suits, several people arrived at the laboratory located on the 3rd floor. A green laser beam swept across the top of the laboratory door, causing the glass door to open automatically. After going through a dust removal and sterilization procedure, they finally entered the lab. Watch me, said Dongfang, who wasted no time and immediately got to work, following the same operational process as Wang Chun and the others. Dongfang obtained a sample that appeared on the substrate, along with a Raman spectrometer and a graphene electron microscope. After a series of tests, the data indicated that this was an excellent high-purity monolayer graphene material. The researchers were astonished, their mouths agape. The skilled technique and 100 success rate. One could say Dongfang was just lucky to get it right on the first try. Must have come from at least 30 years of single experience. Otherwise, how could he move so quickly? The group had no thoughts other than admiration and awe. Impressive. Boss, you're amazing. Wang Chun sincerely called out, with no hint of hesitation. In academia, there's no high or low. Those who excel are the teachers. What shall we do next? Let's first familiarize ourselves with its properties. Then push forward the project. Dongfang cut the square graphene film into 7 pieces with a cutting machine. The group then immersed themselves in intense testing. Dongfang, of course, did not join them. He needed to prepare more films to prevent destructive testing during the experiments from causing a shortage of raw materials. With testing and preparation happening simultaneously, there was no interference. A week later, the 7 held their first meeting. Wang Chun, please summarize. Sure, boss. Our testing took a total of 7 days, primarily focusing on the structure, properties, and conductivity of monolayer graphene among other parameters. Ultimately, we concluded that pure graphene cannot be used to make batteries. However, the microscopic structure of graphene consists of a network made up of carbon atoms. Due to its extreme thinness, only 1 atom thick, the movement of cations is minimally restricted. At the same time, because of its network structure, the electrode materials made from graphene also possess ample porosity. Importantly, we discovered that using graphene as the anode material for batteries allows for a charging and discharging speed that exceeds that of lithium-ion batteries by 10 times. If we base a micro supercapacitor on graphene, it will not only be compact, but also charge at a speed 1,000 times faster than ordinary batteries, capable of charging a phone or even a car in just seconds, and can be used to manufacture smaller devices. Therefore, our recommendation is to develop micro-graphene supercapacitor technology. Dongfang clapped, feeling that this recruitment was worth it. But how do we solve the problem of large-scale preparation of graphene? Dongfang posed another challenge. We plan to start with chemical vapor deposition, then experiment with mechanical exfoliation, reduction methods, high-temperature pyrolysis, layer-by-layer exfoliation, and so on, to identify their advantages and disadvantages, and then delve deeper into feasible large-scale production methods. After all, no investigation means no right to speak. Wang Chun appeared confident, as if he had already done his homework. Sure, you guys can give it a try first. After all, we are just getting started. We can't directly tell him the method. Let's wait for another opportunity. With that thought, he left the laboratory, leaving them to explore freely. Back in the office, he settled down when Zhang Hao knocked and walked in. Boss, I'm back, he said with a flattering expression. As expected, I'm better than my brother. How was it? Did the training end? Seeing this kid, his mood improved a bit. Boss, it's all done. The company is good, but it's a bit remote, even more so than us. Zhang Hao had a somewhat mysterious look on his face. But the food is great. I sleep well, and my schedule is very regular. I've gained weight. He looked up and saw that this kid was indeed chubby. Just tell the truth, is it that kind of military? He shot a fierce glare at him. Why are you asking so much? Don't say what you shouldn't. Understood, boss. The kid saluted playfully, looking like he had been around for a while. Does this mean we've connected with the confidential unit? Do we have a backing now? It seems my earlier judgment was correct. Recently, there had been good news one after another, and he felt inexplicably happy. At that moment, Gao Yuan walked in. Fonger, good news. Another one. Gao Yuan indeed brought another piece of good news. Fonger, we made a big breakthrough. After our small Nuon audio system was successful, I've been thinking about a question. With such a powerful functional assistant software, why do we have to launch products one by one? Can't we, like the Windows system, pre-install the software directly into the chips? Leave room for functional upgrades and sell the chips to various manufacturers. We won't make terminals. We'll just be the rule makers for the industry. Oh, that's a good idea. But how is this related to your good news? He showed a curious expression. Don't rush. Gao Yuan took a sip of water. Later, I shared this idea with the brothers, and everyone thinks it's feasible. Let's get started. During this time, we will focus on this. We can succeed. Just a small chip as the core. Then we divide all the functions into modules and put them into various devices, using Nuon to control them. And then we succeed. The Internet of Everything. Words are too pale. We set up an experience room. Let's go try it out. The two walked out and headed to a corner of the company. It had already been enclosed by transparent tempered glass into a separate room. As soon as they pushed the door open, the sound of the Nuon audio system immediately came through. Master, welcome home. The lights turned on, the curtains opened, and the air conditioning started running automatically. The soothing music made one naturally relax. What is the difference between this and others' functional networks? Or where is it stronger? His enthusiasm cooled down. At this level, it was just the same as other companies, and they had started earlier with a more complete ecological chain. What was our advantage? Haha, Fanger, look. Gao Yuan brought a robotic vacuum cleaner out of the room. The robot vacuum has left. Master, could you check where it's gone? Before Nova could finish speaking, Gao Yuan had already brought the vacuum back into the room. No need, Master, it's back again. This time, Gao Yuan was even bolder. He directly deleted all the air conditioning information from the newly developed mobile app. Master, it's not good. The air conditioning has been deleted. If it was a mistake, I can restore it, but if you insist on deleting it, then just forget I said anything. Restore the air conditioning settings. Alright. After a series of operations, Dongfang was a bit bewildered, not expecting that they had actually accomplished it. Gao Yuan grinned slyly. Look at the wiring layout. There's no need for special arrangements. As long as the devices are connected to the network, the Xiao Nua speaker will immediately detect it and ask for the next command. In other words, all the furniture just needs to have our chip installed. Hehe. And the most important thing, autonomous driving. Let's head out. In front of the Earthring Company, a domestic sedan was parked, its windows rolled down, and it was empty inside. It seemed no different from an ordinary car, except for a cute panda bouncing on the central dashboard. The two got into the car. Xiao Nua, take us to the city center. After Gao Yuan finished speaking, he clasped his hands behind his head and leaned back in the seat. Are we going to the government? Please fasten your seatbelt. We're about to depart. Only after both had fastened their seatbelts did the car start moving. Xiao Nua's driving skills were surprisingly good, something Dongfang hadn't anticipated. The ride was very smooth, comparable to that of an experienced driver, and the car even yielded to pedestrians, which was impressive. Not bad. There's progress, Dongfang nodded. So shall we go into production? Hold a press conference? Gao Yuan couldn't hide his excitement, still thinking about the last press conference that had attracted so much attention. Dongfang agreed. How could he not? Another world first. Who would complain about that? 10 days later, the Earthring Company was set to hold another press conference. This might be the most outstanding internet technology company in the region, having hosted 3 press conferences in a short period, but the products released were quite remarkable. In fact, Earthring Company already had a certain level of recognition, thanks to its products. At the press conference, top media outlets from the region were present. In the familiar scene, Gao Yuan stood under the spotlight introducing the products at this press conference. However, it seemed there were quite a few items, everything from various home appliances to security devices, electric vehicles, and so on, totaling an astonishing 36 items. The audience was already stunned. In the Earthring Company's live broadcast room, a flurry of comments quickly appeared. This was Dongfang's favorite part. He could laugh for a long time at the highlight comments. Dad, give me one. Let us play together. Does your company still need people? Count me in. I'm good at cleaning toilets. I can't take it anymore. I feel like I'm about to reach a climax. What the heck? Random interruption. Gao Yuan entered the product demonstration phase, showcasing the autonomous driving feature. The press conference was a resounding success, and all attendees received a gift, a smart power strip. Cunning. This time, the evening news at 7 o'clock reported on the Earthring Company. A technology company has broken the foreign monopoly and has become the first in the world to complete research on autonomous driving, putting it into use. The accompanying footage shows the domestic car from the company speeding on the highway. Trending keywords, autonomous driving. In the conference room of the company, various home appliance manufacturers have come to seek opportunities, eager to get a share before the smart era begins. Please, everyone, keep it down. How can I answer questions with such a loud noise? Gao Yuan reluctantly took out a microphone. Let's take turns, okay? I'm from a certain appliance company. Can you agree to let us directly purchase software and develop smart devices ourselves? The representative from the appliance company was the most anxious to ask, as their development had lagged in recent years, but they had been making efforts in the past year. Can you agree to do OEM for other companies? Or accept software customization? The representative from another company clearly had more ideas. We are from a certain automotive company, and we can conduct in-depth cooperation on autonomous vehicles. In response, we accept any form of cooperation. So let's discuss it in detail one by one. Gao Yuan smiled, feeling that the opportunity was knocking at the door. The Eastern representative did not participate in the negotiations and instead entrusted all responsibilities to Gao Yuan. After the last assassination attempt, he had captured an agent. But doubts still lingered. Under Nova's comprehensive protection, who could accurately track his movements? Surely, there must be someone leaking information? A mole? Recently, Nova had been monitoring everyone's communication devices around him. Today, someone finally surfaced. Chapter 48. Thermal spray technology. The strength of Nova is unquestionable. Mom, how have you been feeling lately? Is the medical expense in that country high? Do you need me to send more money? I feel much better. The expenses are not high. They take care of food and accommodation, so you don't have to worry. Just focus on your work. A familiar male voice and a weak elderly female voice echoed in the Eastern representative's mind. Real-time footage came in from a drone. showing the first stall in the restroom of the company. The two chatted for a while longer. That's good. I'll hang up now. Make sure to rest well. Sounds of flushing and the door opening followed, and Zhang Chang walked out. Upon seeing the Eastern representative at the door, a flicker of panic crossed his eyes, but he quickly feigned calmness. Boss, I'm done. I'm leaving now. The Eastern representative nodded slightly. Is someone in your family sick? Zhang Chang's face showed intense unease. No. Who told you that? It's not true at all. Who likes to spread rumors? His speech was incoherent, completely different from his usual self. Not probing further, the Eastern representative simply acknowledged him with a grunt and entered the restroom. Zhang Chang had a restless day, making frequent mistakes. His colleagues couldn't stand it anymore. Chang Go. What's wrong with you? If you're not feeling well, just take a leave to rest. No, I'm fine. He thought he was acting normally, just like usual. However, that damned phone kept ringing all day, and he didn't dare to answer it, repeatedly hanging up, eventually putting it on silent. Finally off work, he rushed out of the building first and took a call in the corner. What the hell? Why aren't you answering? Our people have gone missing, and there's not a single clue, shouted a man with a peculiar accent. What the hell are you doing? Didn't we just need to meet the boss? What am I supposed to do? The boss seems to be suspicious of me. Zhang Chang lowered his voice and yelled into the phone. This is not our concern. The fact that I'm even informing you is out of pity for you. Zhang Chang looked at Dongfang, who appeared like a ghost before him, and let the phone drop limply from his hand. He felt he was no longer qualified to call in the boss. Dongfang waved his hand. Come to my office. The two returned to the office. And before Dongfang could say anything, Zhang Chang explained everything. It was understandable. Someone whose mother's life was at stake had a mind close to zero. Recently, Zhang Chang's mother fell ill and was diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer. The medical facilities in the country were helpless, and the last hope was a clinic abroad. But as an ordinary person, how could he send his mother there? Just as he was anxious and preparing to resign to take care of his mother, a mysterious call came in on his phone. The first question was, do you want your mother to receive the best treatment? Was there a more wonderful question? Even if it was a scam, Zhang Chang immediately agreed. His mother was soon sent abroad, and Zhang Chang anxiously awaited the other party's demands. To his surprise, the request was simple. They only wanted information about Dongfang's whereabouts. At that time, I was too anxious about my mother's illness. My mind went blank. I just did whatever they said, not thinking it would put you at a disadvantage. I only thought about a location. Zhang Chang paused, waiting for the final judgment. How's your mother's condition? Unexpectedly, Dongfang was the first to ask about her health. I heard it's okay. Do you believe me? Zhang Chang was somewhat confused. Wasn't he supposed to be fired? I believe. After all that had happened, Zhang Chang had completely submitted to Dongfang. Then bring your mother back. I have a way to cure her. Zhang Chang gritted his teeth. All right, now go out. When your mother returns, come find me. For now, you should take a leave of absence. Dongfang pointed to the office door, signaling him to leave. Dongfang then headed to the materials lab. During this time, Wang Chun and the others had made significant progress. Boss, you're here. Wang Chun had just finished his work. In recent days, their research had fallen into a strange loop, trying every method of graphene preparation. It seemed that none were suitable for mass production. The more anxious they became, the less they could achieve. Attempts and failures repeated endlessly. Hope was nowhere in sight. Dongfang's arrival made him somewhat overjoyed. What's wrong? Encountering some difficulties again? Dongfang acted as if he already knew, putting on an air of superiority. Is it an issue with industrial production? Yes. All right, let us research this together. Tell me the specific problems. Dongfang stood in the center of the lab, raising his voice. Like the challenges faced by other nations, the gas phase method is actually quite suitable. It can produce high-quality graphene films with low pollution and cost. However, due to the low pressure, it is prone to wrinkling. Additionally, limited by the size of the equipment chamber, we cannot achieve the desired dimensions. Dongfang reviewed the experimental data provided by Wang Qin carefully. Each method, whether gas phase, mechanical exfoliation, or redox, has its own advantages and disadvantages, and they all have issues when it comes to large-scale production. Expanding the size of the tubular furnace? It's possible, but the yield is too low, and the costs are too high. The redox method is not feasible either, as it creates too much environmental pollution due to the handling of strong acids. As for mechanical exfoliation, there are too many uncontrollable factors, and the quality cannot be guaranteed. Atomic synthesis from the planetary ring? No way. He frowned slightly, carefully sorting through his knowledge. Suddenly, he noticed a lab technician using a dropper to extract a solution. A flash of inspiration struck him. Spraying. Wang Chun, have you ever considered spraying? Dongfang asked. Spraying? How would that work? Thermal spraying. Dongfang replied, determined. He quickly moved to the arc spraying machine and recalled the principles of arc spraying. Dongfang was confident that this method would definitely work. 3 days passed in a blink, and a completely transformed spraying machine was placed in the center of the lab. 7 researchers, all with dark circles under their eyes, surrounded it. Let us begin. With Dongfang's voice, Wang Chun pressed the start button. The substrate was placed below the spray gun. As the spray gun moved slowly, a visible layer of graphene was sprayed onto the silicon substrate. Wang Chun excitedly held it up. Its performance was outstanding, with a purity above 95 and excellent conductivity, indicating a maximum specific heat capacity. This experiment was a success. The huge cheer almost lifted the roof off the lab. A group of people rushed to Dongfang, ready to throw him up. Unfortunately, they failed. Dongfang only grew stronger. Now that we have the preparation method, we can move into the research and development phase for supercapacitors, Dongfang said, dousing the excitement with a splash of cold water, marking just the first step. Prideful thoughts were not acceptable now. He took off his dustproof suit, waved his hand, and left the lab. He had been here for several days, and there were still a bunch of issues waiting to be resolved at the company. He hadn't seen how many calls Gao Yuan had made. Chapter 49. Relocation. Thanks to Madame Luo and Master Shi, the collaboration intentions proposed by various manufacturers were all different, and Gao Yuan was truly at a loss. Just as he entered the company's door, Gao Yuan grabbed Dongfang. This is our company's chairman, Mr. Dongfang. If anyone has any thoughts, please communicate with him, he said, standing silently behind Dongfang. He also handed Dongfang a stack of documents, all containing letters of intent from various companies. Dongfang frowned slightly, wondering what was going on. After such a long time, Gao Yuan had made no progress, waiting for everything to be handled by himself. Although there had been some recent improvements, they were far too slow, and he was nowhere near capable of handling things independently. Some individuals are unable to keep up with the company's development. It seems it's time to look for a new professional manager. Looking at the chaotic scene before him, Dongfang temporarily set aside his worries. I have already obtained the letter of intent. Please don't rush, we will discuss one by one. I would like the representative from the electrical company to come with me to the office first, and the representatives from other companies, please wait a moment. After saying this, he greeted the person in charge of the electrical company and entered his office, leaving Gao Yuan standing there. May I ask how to address you, sir? Hello, Mr. Dong. I am the chief engineer of our group. My name is Wang Ning. Hello, Chief Engineer Wang. There are quite a few matters to attend to at the company, so I apologize for not being more hospitable. The two did not waste time and went straight to the point. The group was interested in the smart assistant from the company. They wanted to outsource the software development part to them, similar to their collaboration with another company. Customized products. For each electrical appliance sold, a portion of the usage fee would be given, with a staggering customization fee of 50 million. Chief Engineer Wang. Our company has limited manpower, and we will not accept this type of cooperation anymore. So how do you wish to cooperate? We can accept customization, but it must be indicated in your company's products where the smart core comes from. By the way, we only want a share of the profits and do not require a customization fee. We will only take 5 of the sales price, and we will not accept any other terms. Monopolistic. It has always been so domineering. Wang Ning wiped non-existent sweat from his forehead. This young man Dongfang had a strong presence. I need to consult the board of directors. I don't have the authority to decide. Of course, Dongfang waved his hand. The second company, the automotive company, was interested in the autonomous driving technology. Although they had developed some themselves, there was still a significant gap from actual usage. We can provide your company with a complete solution for autonomous vehicles, but we only accept profit sharing. Another one who can't make decisions. An entire afternoon passed with nothing accomplished, just endless negotiations. Fortunately, the hard work finally paid off. Aside from 3 well-known manufacturers like Xiaogua, other companies successfully signed the letter of intent. They would immediately sign the agreement after physical verification. A knock sounded at the door. Zhang Chang's assistant, Li Tao, walked in. Boss, our building renovation is complete. When do you think we should move in? You all can decide this matter. If you're unsure, just ask Gao Yuan. Don't come asking me about everything. Dongfang was genuinely a bit angry today. What can all these capable individuals do? Are they just here to eat and do nothing? Get out. He was already in a bad mood, and now he was completely furious. The second person knocked and entered. It was Gao Yuan. Dongfang suppressed his anger and forced a smile. Gao Yuan, what is the matter? Fang why are you so irritable today? I've heard what they said. Gao Yuan said this while casually sitting on Dongfang's desk and playing with a pen. Dongfang's anger flared up again, and he couldn't suppress it any longer. He knocked on the desk and said, Gao Yuan, during work hours, please address each other according to your positions. After work, you can call me however you like. But please pay attention to work discipline while on the job. Gao Yuan was taken aback. He understood Dongfang. If he wasn't particularly angry, he wouldn't have reacted so strongly. Gao Yuan's survival instincts kicked in. You're right, Director Dong, it's my fault. I'm fine, I'll step out for a bit. Feeling frustrated, Dongfang left the office and aimlessly wandered back to the construction site. True to its reputation as a construction powerhouse, the factory area was nearly completed, and the sound of heavy machinery was no longer heard. The factory buildings in the distance and the office towers nearby were finished. with only a few workers left doing the final touches. No wonder he came to check the time. Looking at the office building that was about to be put into use, Dongfang felt much of his anger dissipate. Gao Yuan was actually quite diligent. He had been trying hard to improve himself, but unfortunately, the environmental company was developing too quickly, and he struggled to keep up. Forget it, he'll grow some more. He turned back to the company, thinking they should move into the new building. With the increasing number of employees, the current office space was indeed a bit cramped. On the morning of August 29, 2021, at 10 a.m., Dongfang, Zhao Jinyu, and the company's management team stood in front of the building, each holding a pair of scissors. As the scissors cut through the red ribbon, loud applause erupted among the employees of the environmental company. The words Environmental Technology Company Limited shone brightly in the sunlight. Dongfang and Zhao Jinyu sat in Dongfang's new office, with large floor-to-ceiling windows, an impressive desk, and an exquisite, luxurious sofa for meetings, all emanating the scent of money. Zhao Jinyu took a deep breath. I like this smell. It's been a while since we last met. And I have some good news for you. Brother, you truly are my lucky star. You always have good news. Dongfang chuckled as he sat beside him. Your company's Deep Blue operating system is very popular. They say they've finally escaped the risk of random backdoor installations, so I want to thank you. And they want to know if you have any new achievements recently. They are looking forward to it. Zhao Jinyu whispered in Dongfang's ear. Oh, that's good news. Recently, we've mainly focused on the real economy. Do they need anything? Graphene. Dongfang felt a bit helpless. They were all about graphene lately. The autonomous driving technology should be confidential, right? Is your recent driverless technology stable and reliable? Zhao Jinyu asked. Coughing, Dongfang choked on his water. Do they need this solution? Haha, they do. As long as your product, Brother Yuan, the product is fine. The anti-jamming and stability are top-notch. If there's a special need, we can also customize it. All right, I got it. You prepare first. They'll come to the company in a couple of days. Chapter 50, Super Graphene Capacitors, thanks to Bai Wu Kulian and the Zhatian gang. After sending Zhao Jinyu off, Dongfang found himself unconsciously standing at the door of the laboratory again. It seemed he inherently preferred doing research. The laboratory was still bustling with activity. As he looked inside, he saw Wang Chun and a few others in the conference room engaged in a heated discussion about something. Seeing these researchers engrossed in their work lifted his spirits a bit, although there was still some distance to the conference room. The intense debate could already be heard. I believe that the structural characteristics of graphene, given the current technological means, are insufficient to use it directly as a battery. We should focus on graphene mixed anodes. Why not? It's just that the mass production process isn't up to par. Focusing solely on the cathode doesn't differ much from lithium batteries, except for a slightly faster charge-discharge rate. Both sides held their ground, unable to convince one another. Boss, can you help us settle this? Wang Chun said, his eyes sharp. Why don't we tackle both approaches? How about this? You split into two groups, each responsible for one direction, and see which one works. All right. In truth, Dongfang had little faith in either approach, as he recalled that the solid-state graphene battery used by the company was different. Thus, he formed a third group. Perhaps due to his increased commitment, the second group achieved success. After consulting Dongfang on a few key points, Wang Chun successfully produced the positive electrode graphene, achieving the goal of charging in 5 minutes and using it for 3 hours. As for Dongfang, he made a minor modification to the plasma thermal spray gun and succeeded in creating a sandwich-structured all-solid-state supercapacitor. Dongfang did not announce his success but quietly gathered the relevant materials, taking only Wang Chun's achievements with him. He notified the administration to immediately proceed with equipment procurement, as this technology should not be outsourced. As for the solid-state battery, that could wait for now. The equipment modifications were left to Nova. No need to waste resources on family matters. Still in the mountains of the southwest, at the National Key Wind Tunnel Laboratory, they were not using computers this time. Instead, they were all gathered, leaning against the glass curtain wall of the lab. An engine was fixed at the wind tunnel entrance, and unlike the aviation engines given to them by a certain brother, this engine was exceptionally clean. Upon closer inspection, it looked strikingly similar to the vector engines from another country. Lu Jiangwo could hardly wait and shouted, "Ignite!" Blue flames erupted, and all indicators were immediately transmitted back to the control room. Perfect. Just look at this perfect jet flame. Lu Jiangwo's face turned red. He knew that the fighter jet would see even greater improvements. The temperature-controlled production workshop was spacious yet clean, with the main door wide open as several large trailers lined up in sequence. Forklifts and workers moved back and forth. Soon, an assembly line was installed, with robotic arms positioned at every node. A production line capable of producing 100 GWh of graphene batteries annually was completed. Gao Yuan stood quietly beside Dongfang, no longer the carefree person he used to be. Director Dong, our production line is ready, but we still lack workers. Dongfang remained silent. Nova, the production line has been fully installed. Let us send out the bionic robots tonight to comprehensively upgrade the equipment. Understood, Commander. Let's hire some workers locally. It's a way to contribute to our hometown. After giving instructions to Nova, Dongfang turned to Gao Yuan and reminded him, all right, the personnel from the special department are always punctual. And Dongfang encountered an acquaintance this time. They only brought 3 people. Su Ge, you're here this time? Long time no see. Dongfang reached out and shook Su Lei's hand firmly. Haha, it's an organizational task. Su Lei seemed very pleased. He was willing to engage with this talented young man. Are you all ready? Su Ge, no problem. Let us head to the workshop. Dongfang said. I've made some preparations based on your ideas. In the open space in front of the workshop, 3 pieces of equipment were lined up side by side. A drone, a miniature armored vehicle, and a mechanical creature resembling a dog, but unlike any similar equipment on Blue Star. The 3 machines looked like they were taken straight from a sci-fi movie. The mechanical dog moved with coordinated limbs, and all the wiring was cleverly concealed within its limbs, giving it an incredibly natural appearance. This must be Nova's masterpiece. Su Lei was somewhat surprised and raised an eyebrow. Dongfang, why don't you demonstrate? Dongfang nodded to the 3 staff members from the company. Their movements were swift as they quickly connected power to the 3 devices. Disconnect after 5 minutes. Su Lei furrowed his brow. What was Dongfang up to? Didn't he know about the charging beforehand? What could be done in 5 minutes? However, he kept silent. Knowing Dongfang, he probably wouldn't make such a rookie mistake. The operation of the machines was extremely simple. They were voice-controlled. Number 1, fly around the company and hover over the factory after mapping the terrain. Provide real-time footage. Number 2, patrol the company gate and report any unidentified individuals immediately, waiting for further instructions. Number 3, head to the company headquarters. Retrieve the stored backpack from the security personnel and return. As the instructions were given, the 3 devices immediately started up and went to perform their respective tasks. 5 minutes later, the mechanical dog returned first, carrying a black backpack. There were no abnormalities. The mechanical dog stopped steadily in front of Dongfang. Su Lei was quicker. Lifting the backpack off the mechanical dog, he felt the weight. It must be around 20 kilograms. However, judging by the mechanical dog's condition, this weight seemed far from its limit. The drone returned second, and the staff handed over a monitor. The panoramic view of the company appeared clearly before Su Lei's eyes, with the real-time images of the factory displayed in the lower right corner. Unidentified personnel detected. Please provide instructions. The monitor displayed a 3rd image. A construction worker was walking toward the gate with a broom. Let him through. Received. Continue patrolling. Su Lei was somewhat incredulous. Dongfang, are these devices all battery-operated? Of course, Dongfang replied with a smile, a proud expression appearing on his face. They only charged for 5 minutes? Su Lei's expression became serious. You can't be kidding. Deception won't work with us. Su, it seems you still don't trust me enough. Note 1. In 2019, the global battery production was about 365 GWh, with our country accounting for 75. However, the efficiency and high energy of graphene mean that this 100 GWh is already significant. Chapter 51, Part-Time Job? Thanks to Bai Wukulian, Woody 7521, Mengma 0718, Su. Have you heard of graphene batteries? Do you think we are isolated from the world? I can also use a smartphone. Su Lei gave Dongfang a sideways glance. That's good. That's good. Our equipment is all installed with graphene super batteries, charging for 5 minutes, and usable for 3 hours. You understand? Dongfang was quite pleased with himself. Su Lei remained silent, and took out a gun-like device from his bag. Aiming it at the mechanical dog, he pulled the trigger. Try it again. Wow. An electromagnetic interference gun, a nemesis for drones. I had this prepared long ago. Dongfang still calmly nodded at the staff. Number 3, return the bag to headquarters. Without a hint of hesitation, after the staff hung the bag back on it, it ran off in a flash. Su Lei was almost going to break the trigger. Still not believing it, he aimed the jammer at the drone hovering in the air. No response, still no response. The drone remained steadily in the air, with image transmission stable and clear. After putting away the interference gun, Su Lei took a few steps and whispered to 2 colleagues who had come with him. Director Su, if this isn't a fake, it's beyond our expectations. You both saw the whole process. Is there any evidence? It doesn't seem like it, but graphene batteries, haha. I don't believe it. I want to see their battery production. Su Lei nodded. Dongfang, I see your production line is already set up. Can we take a look? Of course, this way please. The few of them changed into dust-proof suits and entered the workshop that was in trial production. In the workshop of over 1,000 square meters, only a few workers were on duty, and they seemed to have no abnormalities. No abnormalities. As the liquid bionic robots were disguised without any differences, at least not visible to the naked eye. X-rays are another matter. Mechanical arms waved, conveyor belts flowed. And since it was still in trial production, only a few battery packs were stored in the inventory area, but there were only 2 models. Dongfang casually picked up a smaller battery from above and handed it to the bionic robot. He took out a small toy dog from under the table and quickly attached the battery to it. It was still only charged for 5 minutes. The electronic dog happily ran around on the ground. You can try it. Dongfang pointed to the battery and then to the dog on the ground. Before Su Lei could take action, his colleague beside him couldn't hold back and took action himself. Moreover, he specifically picked up a freshly produced battery. Really, no fakes. Dongfang, we want to purchase your complete solution. Su Lei put away his phone and walked back to the storage area. Dongfang was all smiles. Naturally, he had no objections. The contract was quickly finalized, with a total procurement of 1 million sets for the second collaboration. Although the quantity was reduced, the price remained unchanged. With a complete solution including drones, armored vehicles, and mechanical dogs priced at 200 yuan each. That amounts to a total of 2 billion. And they still only paid a 50 deposit of 600 million. Dongfang felt a bit worried. The volume of this order was substantial. Manufacturing the equipment wasn't the issue, but chips were still constrained by external factors. Forget it. Let's focus on setting up the production line first. There are plenty of vacant factories available. However, this time they would have to rely on Nova. As the Earthring company continued to develop, several buildings had gradually appeared on the surrounding vacant land, no longer leaving it so empty. Dongfang returned to the villa located in the corner of the factory area, which was specifically built as a welfare housing for the company's senior management. Just as he was about to lie down for a bit, he received a phone call. Hello, Mr. Dongfang. May I ask when you will arrive? We didn't see you this afternoon, and I was worried you might have forgotten, so I called to remind you. The gentle voice of the receptionist came through. I'll be a bit busy, but I'll be there shortly, Dongfang replied before hanging up and boarding the shuttle. Timely delivery was a must. No missed appointments. Before his name was called, he arrived at the training ground just in time, not late at all. Dongfang pretended to catch his breath. After running so fast, he had to act a little. After getting in the car and going through the motions, he completed the simulated exam with ease. He left nonchalantly. Didn't the examiner give him a thumbs up? The next day, Dongfang was the first to take the driving test. Nova, you've gone too far. This cheating is too obvious. Naturally, he scored 100 points, which was beyond question. After exiting the driving school, Dongfang felt a bit at a loss for what to do. The company was progressing according to plan, and Wang Chun had been assigned the initial task of starting research on carbon-based transistors. It seemed the company didn't need him for the time being. He decided to visit the school since it had been a while since he saw his 3 companions, and he missed them. After confirming his destination, Dongfang returned to the school with 2 burly men. Upon opening the dormitory door, he found it empty. Oh, right, I forgot it's still vacation. Dongfang turned to leave. Just then, someone was using a key to unlock the door, and he glanced at the bedding. Oh, it must be Zhang Wei. He asked the only one who hasn't made his bed. Fanger, why are you back? Zhang Wei, sweating profusely, pushed the door open, holding a cartoon bear's head in his hand. Third brother, why didn't you go home for the break? Oh, are you here for cosplay? Dongfang didn't expose him. After all, everyone had their little secrets. Yes, I like this, Zhang Wei said somewhat bashfully. You haven't eaten yet, right? Let us go eat together. It's on me since I made some money today. Zhang Wei quickly changed the topic. Wait for me to change clothes. It's too hot. In front of them, each had a Sanchi meal set. Third brother, tell me, why didn't you go home for the break and are still working part-time at school? No need to be shy around family. Sigh, I hope you want to laugh. Fanger, my brother's home, where Zhang Wei lives, is a small village deep in the mountains of Sichuan. For 3 generations, his family has been farmers, toiling in the fields. His parents are not well educated and think that studying is useless. As long as one can read and farm, that's enough. If it weren't for a volunteer teacher recognizing Zhang Wei's potential and persuading his family, he would probably still be farming at home. Due to the poor conditions at home, the tuition for school was raised by the entire village, and the phone he has was a reward from the volunteer teacher. No wonder you never pay when we go out. Now that you've made some money, you're treating us today. No problem, I earn 120 today. Enough for both of us to eat. Seeing no hint of discrimination, he smiled broadly, showing a set of healthy teeth. It's all part-time work. Do you want to change to a better environment? Of course. But we can't be there full-time. No one wants us. I want to. You can work with me. What can I do with you? P.S. The Sky Exploding Gang and the Eternal Spouting Brothers. You can't outdo me, but I can let you try once. Chapter 52 S4 Base. Thanks to 16005011. Flying Sky Exploding Gang Hongming Widgety Zune. The 2 of them arrived at the experience store of Di Huan Company located on East Street in Exe City. The decoration was quite nice, but the products were a bit scarce. Apart from the small Nuo speakers, there were only some smart home appliances. In the center of the store was even a car. Damn, 1,000 thoughts raced through Dongfang's mind. It must be an idea from those tech staff. Zhang Hao and Zhu Jianjun, those 2 clowns, can't escape this time. Big brother, you really know how to compete. Let us settle this when we get back to the company. First, let us resolve Zhang Wei's matter. With this in mind, Dongfang confidently pushed open the glass door. Gentlemen, would you like to see the small Nua speakers? The salesgirl was beautiful, but this didn't match Dongfang's expectations. Don't you recognize me? Should I know you? After all, this is your first time here. The girl giggled, covering her mouth. Well then, let us call your manager. They must know me. Sorry. The manager has gone back to headquarters. WeVE just moved to a new headquarters building. What a coincidence. It's just that coincidental, with the headquarters relocation. The manager thought it was almost time for their report, so a trip back was fine. Zhang Wei tugged at Dongfang from behind. Why don't we wait until the manager returns? What is the rush? Let me make a call. In the end, Zhang Wei's matter was settled. Once the big boss spoke, failure was not an option. After waving goodbye to Zhang Wei, who was wearing a customized Di Huan Company shirt, Dongfang swaggered out of the flagship store. Zhang Chang called. He was staying with his mother at the oncology department of the hospital in Jingxi. All right, let us go take a look. XA summers are really hot. Walking on the road, you can feel the heat rising in waves. Just the short distance from the hospital entrance to the inpatient department was unbearable even for someone as fit as Dongfang. Gulping down the chilled mineral water in his hand, Dongfang spotted Zhang Chang waiting in the hallway. Boss, you're here. A mix of shame, guilt, and gratitude swirled together, creating an indescribable awkwardness. Leading the way, the coolness of the East didn't last 3 seconds. The nurse stopped at the entrance. Sorry, family members, there are too many visitors. Those wearing sunglasses, please wait outside. Well, these two strong men don't look like good people. Zhang Wei's mother is a kindly southern lady with a gentle demeanor, speaking appropriately. Though weak in health, she still maintains her politeness. You must be Mr. Dongfang, Xiao Chang's boss. Her voice is weak, worn down by illness. Yes, auntie, that's me. You don't need to get up. It's nothing. I just came to see you. Oh, what is so interesting about an old lady? Xiao Chang has taken such a long leave. Let him go back to work. I have my partner to take care of me. The wisdom of the elderly. She pretended not to know anything, turning a suspension into a leave of absence. Dongfang smiled and remained silent. After a long while, he nodded. Dongfang decided to trust Zhang Chang this once, for the sake of the old lady. Auntie, I can treat your illness. It just depends on whether you believe in me. Dongfang leaned closer to the old lady and whispered, I believe, for my son, I can believe anything others say. Good, then I need to take some blood. Without waiting for the old lady to respond, he took out a round metallic cylinder from his pocket, gently pressing it against her arm. He was surprised to find that the cylinder was transparent. Red blood gradually filled the metal cylinder. For the next couple of days, take care of your mother. Once she is better, you can return to work, Zhang Chang. This is the first and last time, for the sake of the old lady. With a hunched back and bent legs, anxiously rubbing his hands, he nodded repeatedly. Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. There won't be a next time. Saying this, his eyes turned red. A big man, don't be so sentimental. All right, I'll have someone deliver the medicine tomorrow. I'm leaving. Zhang Chang stood in the hallway for a long time, silently making a decision in his heart. He would follow the boss for life, even if it cost him his life. Sir, just hand the blood collector to guard number 1. The analyzer is already built into its body. Once the testing results are received, I will deliver the special medication at the first opportunity. Nova, how is the base construction going lately? I haven't been back for a while. Captain, all construction tasks have been completed according to the established plan. The sea has endless resources. Recently, I have been collecting isotopes, deuterium, and tritium for reserves for the nuclear fusion engine energy. Are you coming back? No, there are still matters at the company. Prepare the production lines for drones and mechanical dogs. Find an opportunity to install them in the next couple of days. WeVE signed agreements with them. Ready at any time, my lord. Awaiting your orders. Checking the time, it was just 6:30 p.m., though it wasn't dark yet. The barbecue stalls by the roadside were already set up, the sizzling sounds of grilling meat wafting enticing aromas. My mouth watered. Boss, I'll have half a portion of tendon, and a stir-fried rice with pickled beans, and a frozen bottle. Taking a bite, the juicy lamb, infused with the flavors of cumin and chili, is my absolute favorite. I can't help but think it's a perfect day for some exciting activities. I heard there's a place near a certain well-known facility called the S4 base. Hee, I wonder if there are any treasures to be found. Once I've had my fill, we shall pay a visit. Also, it seems the last fireworks display wasn't impressive enough. The soldiers have short memories, so it's time to make a lasting impression. At 7:20 p.m. local time, while it was 3:20 a.m. in the western region, the soldiers were sound asleep. A transport ship appeared once again over the base. The soldiers on duty were dozing off in their chairs. Oh, there's been some improvement. It seems someone is actually on duty this time, indicating that the last fireworks had some effect. Then, I donned an older generation of powered armor and issued a command. Nova, The aircraft has physically connected to the internal network. Take control of the base. All teams, proceed according to the original plan and advance from various points. The descent cables dropped, and 50 liquid bionic robots landed on the S4 base's soil. Your Excellency, the captain, you may need to wait a moment. The patrol team from the western region is passing through the entrance. Additionally, we have fully taken control of the base. No rush, we have plenty of time. I paused, clenching my fist tightly in the air. The bionic robots behind me also stopped, silent without a sound. Nova, let the drones activate high-frequency sleep noise at the entrance. 5 minutes later, all teams entered. As you wish, Your Excellency. The soldiers on duty at the entrance were already sleeping soundly due to the high-frequency noise. A mechanical hand gripped one soldier's sturdy neck. Chapter 53. Well, this is quite nice, thanks to a soldier from the border town, blowing up the Ming Dynasty's Zhu Yuanjia. The mechanical arm retracted, leaving the soldier forever in his sweet dreams. The effect of the high-frequency noise from the micro-stealth drones was unexpectedly good, something I hadn't anticipated. In the corridor, several soldiers lay scattered about. I casually walked past them, even had the leisure to pick up an M16 rifle to play with. Unfortunately, the power of the armor was too great, and the rifle was twisted into a pretzel. Sigh, where do I place my little hands? Your Excellency, the third team has completed the task. All backup power sources have been destroyed. Right, we can't make the same mistake as last time. One by one, the 5 teams reported their progress, and the first step of full control of the base was completed. Your Excellency, what is our mission objective this time? Or do we not have a mission codename? Nova asked, accustomed to my style, puzzled. Haha, Nova, you've made great progress recently. So, our mission codename this time will be Ghost Operation. And what is the main objective? Rumors online are flying around, claiming there are alien civilization spaceships here. And we might as well see if there are any new technologies to take along. My smile had a slightly mischievous hint to it. Understood, Ghost Operation officially launched. I settled comfortably in the base's control center, my legs propped up on the table. The overloaded table creaked under pressure. Half an hour passed, and the team still had no updates to report. Huh, that shouldn't be the case. Why haven't they found anything? Dongfeng felt puzzled. Nova, have you found the Commander's lounge yet? Sir, it's right here. A map appeared before Dongfeng, showing a panoramic view of the base, with a red dot blinking. Let us go there. MacArthur was the S4 base commander appointed by a certain country, directly accountable to the president. At 56, he lacked the energy of his younger days, and had gone to bed early. However, his sleep seemed unusually deep today. Suddenly, he felt a chill on his forehead. Was he too hot, and kicked off the blanket? As he groggily opened his eyes, intending to pull the blanket back over himself, a huge firearm was pressed against his forehead. How dare that insolent soldier enter my bedroom? Hey, this old man is still not awake, one soldier remarked. But then MacArthur clearly saw the towering first-generation mech standing by his bed. Who are you? And what do you want? As he spoke, he stealthily pulled out the emergency phone hidden under his pillow and pressed the alarm button. There was no response. The base was as silent as if it were asleep. The enemy had completely taken control of the base, and resistance was futile. MacArthur sat in his chair, undressed and covered in hair, a sight that made Dongfeng feel nauseous. Unrefined brutes. How could they compare to my people? It's hard to believe those gold diggers can tolerate them. Come on, tell me, where are the unidentified flying objects hidden in the base? The truth serum was still effective. The untrained old man obediently revealed all the secrets. In the southwest corner of the base, there was a door leading deeper underground. The inspection well was merely a disguise. Why couldn't the detectors find it? I don't know. The UFO doesn't seem to be completely damaged. Its energy shield is still glowing. And none of our detectors can find it, even if you're standing right in front of it. Well, no wonder they couldn't find it. After disposing of the disgusting old man, Dongfeng turned to leave. Dongfeng arrived at the southwest corner of the base. 2 bionic robots opened the manhole cover silently. The hinges were exceptionally smooth, confirming he was in the right place. They jumped in first, and Dongfeng followed closely behind. The long corridor was equipped with laser emitters, rapid-fire machine guns, and even high-explosive landmines. However, now they were as ineffective as deaf ears, mere decorations. It wasn't until the bionic robots pushed open a heavy iron door that the truth was revealed. This area had an independent internal network and a separate power supply. No wonder the UAVs couldn't detect it. After obtaining the information, Nova had taken complete control. Peering through the door, he saw a domed hall lined with various equipment against the walls. A disc-shaped, unidentified flying object was suspended in midair, with various wires connected to its body. Several individuals in protective suits lay beside the equipment, seemingly defeated by the bionic robots. In the east, a figure approached the computer, where streams of data flowed across the screen, analyzing the spacecraft's control system. It appeared that in recent years, a certain nation had not achieved any significant results. nor had they conducted any destructive disassembly. After all, they were in a leading position globally and did not feel an urgent need. The bionic robots separated and quickly unplugged cables from various points, causing the unidentified flying object to return to its smooth disc shape. A bright beam of light shot out from the bottom, and the figure entered, disappearing into the hall. Oh, it turned out to be quantum entanglement teleportation. The figure appeared in the cockpit of the flying saucer, which was low and cramped, with stale air. He smirked in disdain. It turned out to be a group of short individuals. The small seats were barely enough for one person. It was possible that this was merely a spacecraft dispatched from a larger starship, and they had not yet departed. Information obtained from the main control computer of the flying saucer confirmed the figure's speculation. These saucer-like crafts were sent by a secondary civilization called Pegasus, which had just mastered faster-than-light travel. By chance, they discovered this blue planet. In order to conduct further research, they had captured humans on a large scale in earlier years. However, due to a malfunction, their flying saucer had unexpectedly crashed. The storage chamber of the saucer still contained one of the captured humans. The figure felt frustrated. Those short individuals. He pressed the ship's start button, and the dashboard lit up one by one, revealing that the power system was quite severely damaged. However, that was not a problem. The bionic robot climbed to the apex of the dome, where a small annihilation device was successfully installed. With a powerful shockwave, a 50-meter diameter hole opened in the dome, causing all surrounding structures to vanish without a trace. Great! The figure felt a surge of joy. The transport ship lowered several steel cables, and the bionic robots welded them to the edges of the saucer. One by one, the bionic robots emptied the hull of equipment, completely filling the transport ship. Shortly after the figure left, the energy bombs installed around the large hull exploded, creating a deafening blast. And a large amount of soil covered all traces of the phantom operation. Well, today's hull was impressive. Chapter 54, Causing Trouble? Thanks to 150-81814-604-107. 3372, Dark Matter DM, and Nargia. The UFO was towed back to an underwater base by the transport ship and then delivered to a fully automated factory by engineering robots. Treated like a precious treasure by the certain nation, the spacecraft was soon disassembled into pieces. In fact, this civilization that had just broken through faster-than-light travel was more suitable for the current blue planet. Therefore, the figure conducted a detailed study of the saucer's power system, control system, and teleportation and storage devices, focusing especially on the main control computer. The silicon-based transistors have reached near the physical limits when they go below 1 nanometer, leading to a continuous decline in yield, rising costs, and uncontrollable current regulation. Therefore, carbon-based chips are the next breakthrough, with superior performance, more suitable for the next stage of development on this planet. The researcher mused to himself. Having just used a super electron microscope to examine a tiny chip about the size of a fingernail. But don't underestimate it. This is the CPU of the main control computer for the spacecraft. Currently, the most powerful chip used in smartphones on this planet is the A14 chip, which has approximately 12.5 billion transistors. But what about this smaller chip in hand? It has completely abandoned silicon and adopted carbon-based, specifically graphene transistors, with a staggering 50 trillion detected by NOVA. Although the number of transistors is not vastly superior, the performance is absolutely incomparable. However, the demand for lithography machines and etching machines cannot be met for now, making it impossible to achieve a breakthrough. As for the propulsion system, they are using a warp engine, which allows for faster-than-light travel by distorting space, far exceeding the current technological level here. The control system is actually just part of the main control computer's functionality. If there is a breakthrough in chip technology, people here could reach that level. It seems that the bottleneck constraining the scientific and technological level remains in fundamental sciences. This research took the researcher 3 days, but the gains exceeded his expectations. As the technological level of the planet he studied surpassed this one by a large margin, providing less assistance than anticipated. Thus, he decided to retreat at the base for a while to delve deeper into some fundamental disciplines. He also instructed Nova to screen all calls except for those from his parents and grandmother. However, he did not expect trouble to arise on the 10th day after he began his closed-door study. It was a sunny day with clear skies. In the lobby of the headquarters, there was a bustling crowd, and everyone wore happy expressions. The company was hiring. The production lines for graphene super batteries, drones, and robotic dogs had completed trial production and were in good condition. However, due to a lack of workers, large-scale production could not commence, prompting the administrative department to issue a recruitment notice. Zhang Chong was sweating profusely, running back and forth, and after the efforts of all administrative staff, he finally organized the interview sequence for the applicants. His mother had fully recovered and created a second medical miracle at the hospital, following the one achieved by his father, allowing him to return to work and fully dedicate himself to his job. He was now just an ordinary employee in the administrative department. Attention everyone. Please line up according to the numbers you received and follow me to the factory. The recruitment for technical workers was entirely different from that for technicians, as technical workers placed greater emphasis on practical operations. Therefore, the main focus of this interview was hands-on operation. The crowd began to move slowly and then formed a line, gathering in front of the graphene battery production workshop. Don't rush, come one by one, Zhang Chang shouted into the megaphone as the crowd re-established their queue. Number 110. Please enter the factory. Number 1120, get ready. Since each candidate took a considerable amount of time, all the interviews were not completed until 5 p.m. The results of the interviews were announced on the spot. After all, for technical positions, if you qualify, you qualify. If not, you don't. Thinking the work was done for the day, Zhang Chang sat down on the curb beside the factory, gulping down bottled water to soothe his nearly parched throat. Suddenly, a shadow blocked his view, and a fist struck his nose. The water bottle flew out of his hand, and Zhang Chang fell into the green belt, blood streaming from his nose. What is going on? Several colleagues rushed over and restrained the shadowy figure. How did you conduct the recruitment? Wasn't he supposed to help local people find jobs? Why wasn't he my brother hired? The assailant was a young man, about 1.7 meters tall, with a shaved head and a tattoo of the word run, endure, on his arm. As Zhang Chang got up, he saw the young man pushing against the staff who were holding him back. No matter what, you can't resort to violence. Given the numbers, a few quickly subdued the young man. I punched him, so what? If my brother isn't hired, I'll keep hitting until you agree to hire him. In the interest of calming the situation and avoiding negative impacts on the company, Zhang Chang approached him. What number is your brother? He's number 44. He can do everything and has worked in electronics factories in the south. Why wasn't he hired? There must be something fishy going on. Zhang Chang thought for a moment. He had some impression of this person due to the number being relatively close. The person looked quite similar to this young man and had a rather slovenly demeanor, likely incapable of doing much on his own. Once inside, he would just mimic what others did. Such a person would never be hired by the company. Oh, I remember him, but I'm sorry, sir, he doesn't meet our requirements, so the company cannot hire him. That's a load of nonsense. What is wrong with him? I'm a local. If you don't want him, I'll bring my whole family to the factory to eat and drink. After saying this, he struggled fiercely to break free and continued to curse, insulting the relatives of those around him. Call security and throw this guy out, someone exclaimed, realizing the situation. The company's security was not as gentle as Zhang Chang and his colleagues. They directly lifted the young man and carried him to the company's entrance, throwing him forcefully onto the street. The young man, realizing he couldn't take on the robust security guards, ran a few steps away, then turned with a fierce look, glaring at those at the entrance. You all better wait. This isn't over. I'll make sure to settle this with you. It seemed this young man was not someone to be trifled with. Chapter 55. Blocking the door early the next morning. Around 560 people gathered outside the gate of the environmental company. There were elderly individuals in their 60s and 70s and children aged 8 to 9, each holding a weapon. There were shovels, hose, wooden sticks, and of course, benches and spatulas, but no kitchen knives. This heartless company has hurt people. Today, they must give an explanation. These individuals spoke fluent dialects, clearly indicating they were local villagers. Gao Yuan saw on the surveillance monitor in the guard room that a young man with short hair was forcefully banging on the automatic gate. Several delivery trucks were blocked by the crowd, and the anxious expressions of the drivers were clearly visible on the high-definition camera. President Gao, the one banging on the door is the person who hit me yesterday. He must be the leader. Zhang Chang whispered to Gao Yuan, recounting yesterday's encounter. Why didn't you report this earlier? Gao Yuan felt a bit irritated. If I had known sooner, I could have been better prepared and wouldn't have been caught off guard like this. Did you call the police? Yes. The local police station said they would arrive in 5 minutes. All right, let us wait for them to arrive. To be fair, our country has made tremendous progress in recent years. When they say 5 minutes, it really is 5 minutes. A white police car arrived with a rush. 3 young officers stepped out, looking sharp in their uniforms. Lu Tao, what are you doing? Blocking someone's gate with a bunch of relatives? What do you want? It was obvious that the officers knew each other. What's wrong? The employees of the environmental company assaulted me. I'm here to seek justice. Is that a crime now? The young man leading the group was agitated. Seeing the police arrive, Gao Yuan stepped out of the guard room and stood at the entrance, not daring to open the sliding door. Hello, officers. We didn't assault anyone. We have surveillance footage you can review. How could you say you didn't? My rear is still bruised. Did I do that to myself? The leading young man shouted. Calm down. Surveillance footage can't be faked. One officer couldn't help but respond. Lu Tao isn't a good person. He has a record for fighting and petty theft. He just got released from detention for fighting, and now this. The leading officer shot a glance at the young officer who spoke. Don't rush things. Let us talk it out slowly. Escalating the conflict wouldn't be wise. with Lu Tao leading 560 people. The three of them couldn't control the situation if it turned chaotic. All right, let us sit down and talk. Gao Yuan knew what was important. The workshop was waiting for Graphite to start work. Fine, talking is fine. Who's afraid of who? Lu Tao's intention was clear. He was applying pressure to get a result. Looking at the decor and setup, the environmental company was indeed wealthy. Not only did his brother want to come to work, but also his cousins. Otherwise, they would have to pay at least 20,000, if not 50,000. As Lu Tao gazed at the brand new office building of the environmental company, his mind began to shift again. The meeting room of the local company was chaotic, filled with people standing and sitting around, some smoking and exhaling smoke, while others were loudly scolding children, making it feel like a market. Let's hear what you have to say, Gao Yuan said as he sat down opposite Lu Tao. Everyone quiet down, I need to talk to this big boss. Lu Tao turned and scolded his entourage beside him. The noise gradually diminished. Go ahead, say what you want, he said, turning back to Gao Yuan with a grin. Gao Yuan internally agreed with Zhang Chang's view that Lu Tao was not an easy person to deal with. What exactly do you want? Gao Yuan asked. I just want a few of my brothers to work at the factory. We've given you the land. At least help us find a way to make a living. This guy seemed relatively clear-minded and didn't mention anything about violence. This was promised by the county. Lu Tao chuckled. It's not that we aren't giving you a chance. It's just that your brothers don't meet our requirements. How do they not meet the requirements? They can't operate the production line, but they can't even clean? We're all hard workers. Once they come in, it's out of your control. Lu Tao had already made his calculations in his mind. Don't be unreasonable. They're hiring technical workers, not cleaners. The leading person couldn't hold back any longer. Why not hire? With such a big factory, don't you need someone to clean? Uncle JC, you're not the owner. What do you know? Sorry, we're not hiring cleaners at the moment. What about the violence? I'm still in pain. If you don't give me an explanation, we're not leaving today? Yeah, we're not leaving. Over 50 people echoed in unison, creating quite a scene. Lu Tao stopped pretending and leaned back in his chair, putting his legs on the meeting table. Gao Yuan clenched his fists tightly, then helplessly let go. He couldn't cause trouble for the company. It needed to develop and grow. So he decided to take a step back. We can cover your losses and your medical expenses. If you keep causing trouble, we can detain you. Haven't you been inside long enough? JC intervened at a crucial moment. Lu Tao was already familiar with the taste of detention, so he felt a bit scared. With a quick thought, he came up with a plan. Fine. I'll go to the hospital for a checkup. I woke up feeling sore all over. Maybe I've been injured. Don't say such things. Zhang Chang couldn't hold back anymore. He was the one who got beaten. Haha, I'm going to the hospital now. Who is coming with me? Don't say I'm trying to scam you. Uncle, you all go back. I'll go for a checkup. Lu Tao stood up and said to the oldest man beside him. In fact, Lu Tao's relatives were just deceived by him. They thought he really got beaten, which is why they came to help. However, after watching for so long, they understood that this guy was clearly trying to scam money. Plus, with JC around, if they ended up getting detained, that would be too costly. So the old man shouted, and the group left without looking back. I'll go to the hospital with you. Zhang Chang, feeling indignant, stepped forward. All right, I'm fine with that. Send a car for me. I can't walk. Seeing Gao Yuan wanting to say something, he immediately began to feign pain. Get the administration to send a car. Gao Yuan could no longer stay and stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Such a big temper. Let's go to the listed hospital. The county's level is not up to par. After saying this, he didn't wait for Zhang Chang and went downstairs by himself, standing in the open space in front of the building with his hands behind his back, waiting for the car to pick him up. That son of a really doesn't know what kind of trouble he caused in the hospital. As expected, after a bunch of tests, there was nothing wrong, but Lu Tao insisted he had a headache and wanted to be hospitalized. Moreover, he demanded 50,000 yuan in compensation. Damn it, let's see how I deal with you. Pretending to agree to the compensation, Zhang Chang made a decision in his heart. He took Lu Tao away from the hospital, saying they were going back to the company to get the money. Chapter 56, Resolved? As Yanling, who loves sweet and sour pork tenderloin, said, old soldiers don't die, they only fade away. The car exited the highway and turned onto a sparsely populated national road. Zhang Chang was secretly calculating. Not far ahead was a big turn, and after that, there was an open space by the roadside with dense vegetation, and importantly, it was deserted. Driver, after the big turn ahead, please stop. I urgently need to use the restroom. All right. Lu Tao also needed to go badly, as Zhang Chang kept handing him bottled water along the way, being overly courteous. So he drank a bit too much. Lu Tao got out of the car, and they stood about 5 meters apart, each taking out their guns to handle their physiological needs. Perhaps it was because he drank too much. Lu Tao took longer than Zhang Chang to finish. Haha, feeling light with no worries. Lu Tao shook himself and was about to put away his weapon. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through him. The folding umbrella made intimate contact with his thigh. Ignoring the need to fasten his belt, Zhang Chong turned to counterattack. As the saying goes, the first to strike will have the advantage, and besides, he had a tool in hand. Zhang Chong quickly overpowered Lu Tao, knocking him to the ground. He felt a bit regretful that this folding umbrella was ruined, but it was worth it. My life was given to me by the boss. You want to extort me? Heh, you've come to the wrong place. Do you believe I can kill you right now? Zhang Chong's eyes turned red. His face twisted with rage, waving the already tattered umbrella in his hand. No, no, they say the bold fear the reckless.